tonight in Boston. The Celtics won Game 4 to extend the series, but they lost the first 2 games at home. And ESPN's Vince Carter says Boston still needs work.
They're going to have to find a way. And first and foremost, they're going to have to defend and take care of the basketball. Jason Tatum played great, but 5 turnovers. He had half of their turnovers. And you can't have that, particularly if you don't play well at home.
Vince Carter on Get Up. Heat guard Gabe Vincent is out for tonight's game with a left ankle sprain. Our coverage of Game 5 starts at 8 Eastern here on ESPN Radio. Over on ESPN TV at 8 Eastern tonight, it's Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Playoff West Final in Dallas. The Golden Knights leading the Stars 3-0. The Jaguars signed kicker Brandon McManus, who was cut by the Broncos 2 days ago after 9 seasons in Denver. McManus had been the last remaining player on the Broncos roster from the Super Bowl 50 championship team.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. They're close, convenient, and have the parts you need fast, along with excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
In the heart of Beer City, USA, 2 men, 1 journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their shit. Let's go! Tank Spencer, Jeremy Green, The Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy. It's ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy, heard everywhere around the world. Take us with you everywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app. And it is a Thursday afternoon here in the Ingles studio. Watch us live on YouTube. Watch our faces get red in anger at each other, because today might be the day. There's a point.
This is why we need football. Because when we have football, we can argue about things in a way. Then we start talking about non-football things, and I say things that I can tangibly watch break Tank's brain.
Well, I mean, it's much like football. You know, when we talk football, I don't want to be giving up the ghost here. I think anybody that has listened to this program for a long time realizes the relationship that Jeremy and I have. Like, I'm the setup guy. I throw the softball question out there. Jeremy knocks it out of the park, and then I kind of come in on the backside and just kind of clean up. I'm like the color guy.
Yes.
Jeremy's like our play-by-play guy when it comes to analysis and stuff.
Yes.
I'm fully aware, hashtag self-awareness. I know my role, okay?
One of many things I love about you.
Now, we did when it comes to football, basketball, talking X's and O's and all that kind of stuff, I always defer to you, because you're better at that stuff than I am.
I'm not going to say yes, but I just see things differently than you do.
Yes.
Because I feel like you're undervaluing yourself here. Because you see it in a way that the average listener of the show doesn't.
Yes.
You do have a great merit of how you watch the game.
Yes.
I watch it from a scout's perspective. So
right,
I see things that
thank you for
don't sell yourself short.
Right, okay. All right. However, when we get into conversations about other things like movies, or I'm starting to feel this way about music. Now, the fact that you have way more musical talent than I will ever have made me immediately think, okay, well, this guy can sing. He's pretty good at it. Got a good stage presence. I mean, if you've never seen Jeremy do karaoke, it is quite the sight to see him go from, saying crazy things on the radio, mulleted drinking beers guy, to just making all the ladies swoon.
Country love singer, yeah. If you ever look at HWA, I just posted the first picture from our wedding. Look at that beautiful woman and look at me, and just understand that musical talent was probably 60% of how we got here.
Right. So I automatically thought, well, I mean, this is a guy whose opinion I can respect about things. But then I realized that
I can't wait to hear how you say this.
There are people in this world who can do things well,
Keyshawn Johnson.
But their opinions about said thing, like, I don't know, Kyrie Irving. Like, you are the Kyrie Irving of music.
That might be the meanest thing you've ever said to me. So where all this came from is we started talking about, with the passing of Tina Turner yesterday.
Right.
Very sad.
Yes.
That a lot of her songs were covers.
Mm-hmm.
I did not realize that. I've heard a couple different shows today that bandied about cover songs and things like that. And what I started thinking was we should do a segment today about cover songs that we would have loved to hear. Singer
that's
A
not bad.
sings song B.
It's not bad.
And I've had a bunch of them.
Okay.
Well, one of the singers that I was thinking about was Chris Cornell, because that's one of my favorite singers of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I just so happened to see Chris Cornell 3 days before he died. In the last performance he ever gave, I was there.
Yes.
So I don't remember how we got to this. But I said, and I was wrong, I will admit.
I'm so glad that you started that way.
I will admit, sometimes Jeremy says things, doesn't think about them before he says them. I said Chris Cornell was the greatest male vocalist of all time. Now, Tank pulled up a list, and he gave me about 11 off the top of his head where I went, yep, you're not wrong there, and you're not wrong there, and you're not wrong there. Right. But then he got to this other name, and he said it, and I went, not only is he not better than Chris Cornell, he's not good, period. Tank, would you like to tell the people who that was?
Well, first, let me tell you the first names on the list that I pulled up were Freddie Mercury.
And I agree.
No doubt.
Agreed,
no doubt.
totally.
Number 2, George Michael. I mean, I can see where you're going with this, but I don't have to agree with the list.
Yeah,
it's not my list.
I wouldn't agree with that one, but I at least understand the merit of what you're saying.
Michael Jackson.
I was just wrong on that one.
Nat King Cole.
Yep. I basically don't think that anything before I was born happened. So let's just, when I say stupid things musically, just understand that that's part of where I'm coming from.
Right. And then I got to number 5, Frank Sinatra.
Not even good. Like, not only is he not better than Chris Cornell, he's not even a good singer.
And that, my friend, is the dumbest thing you've ever said.
So you and Brian Hall both heard me say this, and you both started doing your Frank Sinatra lounge singer.
Absolutely.
Old blue eyes, start spreading the news. And I went, yep, both of you better than him. Like, straight up.
It's just
both of you are better singers than Frank Sinatra.
It's absolutely idiocy to me. Frank Sinatra is one of the greatest entertainers of all time, one of the greatest singers, one of the greatest ad-libbers. Nobody doobie-doos.
I never
like
said he
Frank
wasn't
Sinatra.
a good entertainer. I said he's not a good singer.
Of course he is.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic singer.
This is why he's my people. In the YouTube chat said Frank was a stylist, not a singer. I get it. I love it. Sloan Jordan said, can't we but love both Frank and Chris?
Absolutely.
You can. I do not.
Absolutely, we can. But when you said Frank Sinatra wasn't even a good singer,
nope,
was the dumbest thing you've ever said.
Nope.
When you were 2 years old and there was a hammer laying on the sidewalk and you pointed at it and went, nail, that was smarter than what you just said.
Well, those two things at least go together. When I was a kid, I would point at that hammer and go, squirrel!
And that equally as smart. Saying Frank Sinatra's not even a good singer.
Because he was a good, see, to me, there's a difference between good singer and good entertainer.
Mm-hmm.
Frank, I'm sure, was a fine entertainer, but I hear him sing and I go, I've spent a lot of time in Nashville in my life, and somewhere in that city right now, there is a fat guy that looks like me singing in a Mexican restaurant that is a better singer than Frank Sinatra, and it's not close. I've heard 100 of them. And it's just, it's always bothered me about, like, Paul McCartney. Not a good singer.
Yeah, he is.
Paul McCartney's not a good singer.
Sure he is.
No, he's not. Bob Dylan, not a good singer.
I'll agree with you there.
Hey.
And you know what?
What did you just say, Bob?
You know what? Singing-wise, Chris Cornell, much closer to Bob Dylan than he is Paul McCartney.
Well, I mean, you're right, because Bob Dylan's better than Paul McCartney, and Chris Cornell's leaps and bounds out of both of them.
Stop that.
And here's the thing. Scott Stapp, better than everybody we've talked about except that list that you just said. Scott Stapp is playing Frank Sinatra in a movie that is being filmed as we speak. Scott Stapp's version of every Frank Sinatra song will be infinitely better than anything we've ever heard recorded by Old Blue Eyes.
Secret time, Scott Stapp, way better than Chris Cornell.
And see, you said that, and I went, uh-oh. This is what it feels like when you're put into a corner with your own takes, because now I don't know where to go.
We know where you should go with that. That was Tank mocking Jeremy's stupidity on Frank Sinatra. Because Scott Stapp's not even kind of close to Chris Cornell.
Scott Stapp, the phenomenal singer. You stop with your slander.
Enough. We started talking about vocal ranges and all this. And like, Chris Cornell had some range, but most
fantastic
of it,
range.
But most of it was, that's what I hear when I hear him sing.
Yeah.
Love it. Don't get me wrong. Huge fan. Big fan of the Spoon Man song.
And see, when I hear Paul McCartney, I feel like it should be being sung by children on a bus, because I should just be, y'all came right on a yellow submarine.
Wait, I gotta get my bell. Comment of the day goes to Patrick Holt. This is Scott Weiland. He was amazing.
Yeah,
that was one of the first ones I threw out. I was like, hell, I was more impressed with Scott Weiland singing than I was Chris Cornell back in the day.
And that was where I just looked at Tank and I said, I'm going to pretend I didn't just hear you say that.
Thank you, Patrick.
And that's no shot at Scott Weiland. I like him.
Axl Rose. There you go. In
Yeah,
his heyday?
Yeah, and he's my level of crazy person, too.
Mm-hmm.
So.
In his heyday, better than Chris Cornell.
And every singer we've said, infinitely better than Frank Sinatra.
This was very much down the path of Jeremy's "It's Josh Palmer season, baby" takes.
Well, I mean, Josh Palmer's had some games, okay? So let's not act like I said that about, I don't know, Auden Tate.
You know who else has had some games? Rashid Shaheed. And he ain't doing much for me.
That's a funny way of saying 4 catches, but, just so happened they all went for touchdowns.
Oh, wait. Who was that other guy that you were on?
Auden Tate.
Oh, Jalen Guyton. Do you remember the fights we had about Jalen Guyton?
Yeah, because you said he didn't belong in the NFL, which to me is the same level of me saying Frank Sinatra, bad.
Jalen Guyton wouldn't even be the MVP of the XFL.
Oh, that's not true. Although it might be. A.J. McCarron was pretty good. And this is what happens when you take away our football.
Indeed.
Tank and I come in, and then we talk about singers.
Sloan Jordan says Scott Stapp's best song is the Marlins song. Apparently he did a song for the Florida Marlins.
I have no idea.
Interesting.
I can't pick Scott Stapp's best song. That's like picking your favorite family.
By the way, remember when we were
all.
talking yesterday about dead naming sports teams? Yeah, I went full Florida Marlins on that one.
You
They ain't
did.
been the Florida Marlins in 2 decades, it feels like.
Which that's actually an ironic time to say that at some point in the next handful of shows, we're going to break out a new game, which is where this actually all started. We just crowned a new American Idol. I'll give you $5,000 cash right now if you can tell me that guy's name without looking at your computer screen. I pulled the story, and I can't do it. So we're going to play a fun game of American Idol or American League All-Star.
Yes.
And I will bet you don't get one of them right.
I'm not too strong on my American Idol trivia.
I didn't know half of them. You get me past like Kelly Clarkson and Carrie Underwood, and I go, do we still do that show?
Exactly.
And if we do, for why?
Caleb Johnson.
What do you get?
Repeat the line.
What do you get for winning American Idol now? Like, we got you a free 12-pack of seltzer beers. Here are 12 White Claws. That's what you get for winning American Idol. Congratulations.
We're going to put all your live performances on Spotify. It's something you could have done yourself.
Congratulations.
I mean, I remember like when it first came out, it's like, oh, you're getting a record deal and like $1 million. And they never worked for any of them. I mean, other than Kelly Clarkson and
that didn't
Carrie
work for
Underwood.
long. And then she got a talk show. And Carrie Underwood. And then Taylor Hicks happened, and I feel like that just kind of broke the show. And then we had a few more. Then we got to Caleb Johnson, and it went and irrelevant. All of you.
Well, the problem that American Idol had, in my opinion, was that in the show you would have the best singer would win.
No. In the YouTube chat, we have just had a comment that cannot be just overlooked. Patrick Holt Speaking of American Idol, fun fact, I used to date Kelly Pickler.
Do what?
Of all the things that I know about all the people on this show, that might be the most fun fact that I have ever seen in my life.
Doubt. Wow.
Look at Pat Holt, just coffee's for closers, and you take yours with 3 creams, my friend.
Please tell me this wasn't like she was my first girlfriend in the 6th grade.
I don't care if it was in elementary school. I don't care if you used to share gummy bears on play dates when you were 4.
Oh, he said we went on a few dates. So that was like, he was doing stuff. Like, this is adult Patrick Holt.
Let's go.
Yeah, I love it.
And that has now given me an idea of, I feel like every listener of this show needs to get their own trading card image where we have your reprehensible name and a fun fact about you. So
That's on the back of your baseball card.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Because Pat Holtz would be, I dated Kelly Pickler. Tanks would be, I should have been the kid that peed his pants at Billy Madison. And I now think this might be the greatest idea that we've ever had.
And on the back of Jeremy's baseball card, it will say, thinks Frank Sinatra is a below average singer.
Tank, I'm going to be really honest with you. Picking one fun fact about me would be difficult because there's some things you people don't know about me that would make you go, man, he's lived a cool life.
Yep.
That guy has lived a cool life.
And right underneath the Frank Sinatra tag, it would say, and Justin Jefferson should be picking up trash.
I can't read Patrick Holt's last line, but that would also go on his baseball. I love you, people. This is going to be a fun day. We got 2 shows left before Memorial Day holiday.
That, my friends, I feel like that is a T-shirt.
No
that's
doubt.
a T-shirt, and you didn't even ask how much it cost.
Nope. Listen, this might be the weirdest day of show we've ever had, and I'm here for
Let's rock and roll. It is the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
Every road trip is a chance to explore. Let the Autio app bring your next drive to life with fascinating narrated tales about the places you go. Autio features over 10,000 unique stories from coast to coast. Tales of local legends, natural wonders, and history. With many stories narrated by some of your favorite voices, including Kevin Costner, John Lithgow, and more. Download the winner of the Webby Award for Best Travel App. Autio, the perfect companion for your next road trip. Available from the App Store and Google Play.
In this week's Marketers Report, Raja Manar, Chief Marketing and Communications Officer of MasterCard, talks about measurement.
Measuring sonic and sonic branding, the principles of measurement are the same, but the parameters that you measure are different. We measured, and what we find is our investment is paying for itself in oodles.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the audiences, trusted influencers, and data you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
Are you suffering from seasonal allergies? Because you're not alone. Experts say pollen season started earlier this year and will last longer, and that folks who've never had issues before are feeling miserable. I'm Martin Hoke, inventor of Navage, the world's only nose cleaner with powered suction. Over 3 million people use Navage to pull saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, helping to flush out allergens, mucus, and germs. Navage helps clear your sinuses quickly and naturally. But what about other people's experiences, like Miss Clement? Quote, I chose Navage because of my persistent allergies. Navage works. While using it, I cut back on allergy meds and occasional shots at my doctor's office. Unquote. That's one of over 120,000 reviews with a 4.6-star average written by people who use Navage to breathe better, snore less, and feel healthier. Stop suffering and try Navage today at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, and Target. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Did you know Ingalls only sells USDA choice and prime cuts of meat? Maybe it's time to reward yourself. Our butchers cut all our meat fresh in the store every day. Grass-fed, organic, you name it. Not only that, we'll even cut it to order just the way you like it. And we grind meat fresh in the store multiple times a day. It's all in the bag. That's the best meat in town for the best folks in town. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, Kai?
I mean, conversations for all ages here at the Sportsocracy.
100%.
I mean, we're just teaching life lessons.
Sometimes we have to speak in code, but,
Sometimes, it's life lessons for children. Of sometimes you think there's an opinion that you should respect, and then, it's like the old saying goes, I give you enough rope, you're eventually going to hang yourself.
See, now I can't stop thinking about what would my tagline on my baseball card say. I've got a few in my head. Obviously, the Steph Curry thing that's in our open.
Mm-hmm.
Came this close with Topanga from Boy Meets World.
At
a Wake Forest.
Was
I
robbed,
think that was at a sorority party.
Was robbed of 6 figures by Hideki Matsuyama. That would.
Oh, yeah. Lost $1 million because of Hideki Matsuyama. That's definitely up there. Open for a lot of famous comedians. I'm telling you, I've had a life. I can't believe I said the Topanga thing and you just went.
I wasn't even. What did you say?
I'll tell you off air. That's one of the stories that's probably not great for this show. Because I would have.
I think I've heard that story.
Yeah, I would have to omit like 40% of it.
Yeah, I believe I have heard that story. Anyhow, it's the Sportsocracy.
We
here
are
on
a sports
ESPN
show,
Asheville.
and we're going to sport now.
Are we really going to sport now?
Well, I mean, this is the deadest time of the year.
Well, no doubt. And Jeremy's, you're locked in on this story about Jimmy Garoppolo, the savior of the Las Vegas Raiders, had foot surgery after signing, still recovering. So, are you concerned?
I mean, my biggest concern is Jimmy Garoppolo is made of popsicle sticks.
Mm-hmm.
And seemingly he has had to have something worked on every single year.
Mm-hmm.
And I cannot for the life of me figure out, how did we get here? Because the Raiders, I mean, we thought they were dysfunctional to begin with. And now you've got Devontae Adams that is out loud chirping at the coaching staff, saying we're just not on the same page. Basically calling out Jimmy Garoppolo. Now you got Garoppolo was hurt, which, okay. So you had to have another surgical procedure after you missed the end of last year. And why am I supposed to feel good about this again?
This is the question I've been asking.
And I'm coming around to your way of thinking of, this could go just famously badly.
Mm-hmm.
Name me the last team that you saw with this much infighting in May, and things went well.
Oh, that doesn't exist. I was going to say this could be fun. I mean, we can go back to, just more recently with the Jacksonville Jaguars and Urban Meyer. Some of those Minnesota Vikings off seasons weren't too great. Mm-hmm. Oh, Cincinnati Bengals, they got off seasons for days that you could talk about.
With Adam Pac-Man Jones.
Yeah, there was a bunch of them.
My favorite Pac-Man Jones.
Perfect. And
my favorite Pac-Man Jones story ever came from Tom Segura. If you don't know who that is, he went to a strip club one time and a bunch of people got shot. And then that same thing happened 2 more times. So that's who he is. And he might not have been the worst on that Bengals team.
Mm-hmm.
But historically, when you have this much infighting this early, it ain't going to end well.
No. Again, I feel like this is just broken record territory here, and we've been here for several seasons.
You've been here for several seasons.
No, I'm not just talking about the Raiders. I'm talking about the coaching tree.
Oh, everything Josh McDaniels?
The Belichick coaching tree. It never works. I mean, do you have an example of one that worked?
Mangini did for a minute.
Yeah. But
I mean, when that's your high water mark.
Jets gone jet. I mean.
I don't know if that was Jets gone jet. That was. It wasn't on the greatest footing anyway. And then some things happened that went less than ideally. He did an episode of The Sopranos.
Right.
And then it crashed into the rocks.
But are we saying that's the high water mark?
I can't think of one higher. I mean, Romeo Crennel, do you give it to him just because it lasted longer?
Possibly.
Most of these guys
at least he had a season where you went, oh, that guy
he's good.
He could be a thing.
And then a year later you go, oh.
Because didn't he have like a 12, 13-win season or something with Kansas City at one point? And then that was probably the best a Belichick disciple's ever done.
So now this brings me to where I wanted to go with this Raiders thing.
Okay.
Vegas has now officially put out the full odds of you can really narrow in on what a team's going, where you think a team is. How many games do the Las Vegas Raiders win this year? Not looking at the schedule, just straight off the top of your head.
5.
Under 5.5 right now, you can get it plus 195. And I'm not sure I wouldn't take it.
Not bad.
I'm not sure I wouldn't take it.
Not bad.
You get under 3.5 at plus 750 if you really want to go for the gusto. Because 5.5 is what their line is. You're minus 240 and over that, you're at plus 19500.
That's worth a gamble.
And the more, because I don't know how you get out of this. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo is a step back from Derek Carr no matter what you do.
Yes.
When we did quarterback power rankings on Tuesday, Carr was 11, Jimmy Garoppolo was 21. And you said that there's that tier is closer than I wanted to let on. There's still no way you think they're better.
No.
Now you have no Darren Waller. You didn't really do a ton to improve that offense. I mean, I like Jacoby Myers, but is that really just a huge upgrade?
Well, you got another slot receiver.
He plays on the outside. Yeah, you do this every time we talk about Jacoby Myers. He plays on the outside more than you think.
Okay.
And he will with them too, because Renfro will play in the slot. But do you think that's an improvement over Darren Waller?
Maybe.
I mean, if he plays 17 games, I guess your availability is something.
Indeed. Because Darren Waller's played half the snaps in the last 2 years.
But is Jacoby Myers half the player?
Yeah.
I would say that's about right.
Yeah.
Darren Waller healthy is probably twice the receiver that Jacoby Myers is.
Possibly.
And so you just look at all these things and go, how is this? Tell me again how this is supposed to be better. Like, I like the Tyree Wilson thing, and I think Chandler Jones will be better this year. But I really feel like you're telling me exactly where you're at. And it's pretty damning that this is either first or second day of their OTAs. I haven't heard a positive word yet. Nothing. And I have scoured the interwebs trying to find one. Give me something to make me feel warm and fuzzy.
Yeah.
And I got nothing. It would be like me going fishing. I'm throwing a line out there, but nothing's biting it.
Mm-hmm. This is not they treat this like Bill treats his teams of we're ready to win right now. And you're not ready to win anything right now. You were closer to being ready to win when you had Derek Carr. And now you've shuffled him off down to New Orleans. You've taken Jimmy Garoppolo, this is one where remember earlier this week, just 2 days ago, when everybody was talking about Aaron Rodgers pulling the hamstring or whatever it was in OTAs with the Jets. Okay, this is a legitimate injury that had to have surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a guy that's hurt way more often.
All the time.
Right.
All the time.
I don't know what you see that you could possibly be thinking that this is going to work out well.
Well, and the thing and this really hadn't crossed my mind until today, it's one of those mottos that I live by. Don't try to be happier than happy. How different do you think the Las Vegas Raiders would be right now if they just hired Rich Bisaccia? When he had led you to that, and you didn't bring along the circus that is Josh McDaniel, how different would this team look?
I think it would look markedly different.
I think it would be better.
And I believe there's a chance it could be better. But I also feel like you left yourself a possibility if you had fired Rich Bisaccia or hired Rich Bisaccia, and then last season didn't go your way, you could have fired Rich Bisaccia, gotten away with it, where you weren't going to do that with Josh McDaniels. You wouldn't have owed him how much ever they owe Josh McDaniels, and then you could have had Eric Bieniemy as your next head coach, or whoever. You could have had one of the coaches that got hired in this cycle. You could have had Shane Steichen or Frank Reich or any of those guys. Your franchise would be in a much better place if you never went down that path.
And we have our first one of these from our Denver Bronco fan friend, Soaring Eagle. Well,
yep,
that's the thing I did.
Yep.
In comparison with this, the Broncos with Russell Wilson doesn't quite look as bad now, does it? And I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't. It doesn't. And that's why our next power ranking will be head coaches, coaching staffs, because I genuinely think, and I've had this stuck in my head all day, that if Rich Bisaccia was the head coach of this team, I think it would have kept a lot of the noise out.
Mm-hmm.
I still think you make the run at Devontae Adams, but I firmly believe Derek Carr would still be the quarterback of the Raiders, and I would be looking at them much different than I do right now.
Sports Status in the YouTube comments says, so question, who's going to be more of a laughing stock of the NFL, the Bucs or the Raiders?
Is yes an acceptable answer?
I mean, I don't have high expectations for either of them. However,
have you seen Baker in your OTS?
No.
Oh,
why would I want to watch that?
I watched it because I really like to laugh. I don't know who. I think it's Cade Otton that he was throwing to.
Mm-hmm.
Otton comes in, and they're throwing on air, and he sailed one to Cade Otton, who's 6'7", sailed it by at least 3 feet over his head. I mean, he could have had a trampoline and he still wouldn't have caught it.
Worst quarterback in the NFL in 2022 was Baker Mayfield.
Yes.
He had a 25 QBR last year.
And that was with that one game with the Rams where he looked competent.
Mm-hmm. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are trying to punt. They're trying to tell you, we need Caleb Williams. The Las Vegas Raiders are trying to win. And I think Tampa's going to win more games than they do this year.
And I'm not going to I'm not going to lie. I'm not sure you're wrong. I'm not.
No.
I'm not. Now, if Jimmy Garoppolo was your quarterback, now I think you're the best team in the NFC South.
I feel like it was
That's
close.
how weird of a dichotomy this is.
Mm-hmm.
Because that Bucs roster is good enough to be competitive. The Raiders have gigantic holes on this team. And it comes from Mark Davis being an absolute lunatic. It comes from Josh McDaniels. It comes from the Patriot way. It comes from a lot of things. But I'm not going to lie. You may not be wrong. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers may win more games this year than the Raiders. I'm starting to think that's the team I've overvalued just off the first couple days of OTAs.
Yeah. That's how quickly a narrative can change when you start out on the wrong foot. Oh, excuse me. Is that sensitive topic with Jimmy Garoppolo?
Oh. Wah, wah.
It is the Sportsocracy, and it is ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, this weekend, the rain takes over the forecast, unfortunately, right for the holiday. Looks like some heavy rain coming in for Saturday afternoon as a coastal low marches off the Atlantic into the Carolina forecast, and the northeast winds are going to be brisk here for Friday and into the weekend. We're in the mid-50s tonight, partly to mostly cloudy Friday, high 70, heavy rain Saturday, breezy northeast winds 57. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by ComparionInsurance.com.
Hi, we're Comparion Insurance Agency. Never heard of us? We know. But to help it stick that our local agents are insurance experts, we're going to say local agent 3 times in the next 5 seconds. Local agent, local agent, local agent.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com.
Looking for an electrician job that has it all? Then join Emory Electric. Competitive pay? Check. A supportive team? Check. A clear path to career growth? Check. Yes, Emory Electric has it all. They offer the best pay rates because Emory Electric values its team. Ready to light up your career? Call Emory Electric at 828-658-8300 or visit EmoryElectric.com/careers. That's EMORY Electric.com.
When you open your hopper, you don't fill it with just any hardwood pellets, right? You fill it with Kingsford 100% hardwood blend pellets. Made right here in the USA with North American ingredients and a 100% natural hardwood blend, Kingsford pellets can be used on any pellet grill and add delicious smoky flavor to any meal. Kingsford's the name you trust for the low and slow cooking you crave. So look for Kingsford 100% hardwood blend pellets. Kingsford.com.
For more information about contests on the station, log on to ESPNAVL.com.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
It's time to discover the convenience and time savings of contact-free pickup with Ingles Curbside. Just visit shop.ingles-markets.com or download the app. And your Ingles personal shopper gets to work with specialized training on how to select the freshest items for a pre-scheduled pickup. They'll even text you with updates. You pull up to a designated space and your personal shopper delivers your items right to your vehicle. Fresh, fast, and affordable. It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Tired of getting dinged by monthly fees on your checking account? You need Simple Checking from Home Trust Bank. With Simple Checking, you get all the essential checking services for free, including 100% online access and a free Visa debit card. It's everything you need from a checking account, but no hoops, no surprises, no monthly fees. Stop by today or call 800-627-1632. Simple Checking at Home Trust. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Part of the reason for the Just a Bit Outside segment is to highlight sports that we don't normally talk about. Again, high school sports is one of those. Remember I told you the story last week of the absolute dog that ran for her track team in Ohio by herself, won the state team track and field championship. Well, here's another dog. This guy from Idaho, Brody Birch. Brody Birch lives in Pocatello, Idaho, and goes to Pocatello High School. So he's a track star, and he plays on the baseball team. Saturday afternoon, Birch was in the 5A, 4A state track meet for the 800-meter dash around 3:30 in the afternoon. As he was getting to the starting line and dusting his competition, winning the state championship, his baseball team was also in the state championship 137 miles away. He wins the state championship in the 800. And then because his dad is a former forest firefighter, he knows a lot of people who own planes or can pilot planes. So they go to the nearby airfield, hop on a plane, fly the 137 miles from Twin Falls, Idaho to Meridian, Idaho. He comes in the fourth inning of the game as a pitcher, added a few crucial hits, threw 4 strikeouts in 3 innings of work, wrapped up the state baseball championship, winning 2 championships within a span of 10 hours, basically, 137 miles apart. Brody Birch, today's high school sports dog.
One of my favorite dogs is Chiefs coach Andy Reid. Unlike Sean McDermott, who wouldn't say anything about the new kickoff rule. He was on the Pat McAfee show and basically said, I like the money in my pocket when they asked him how he felt about it. Andy Reid pulled no such punches. His exact quote was, my thing is, where does it stop? We start taking pieces and we'll see how this goes, but if you don't want to take too many pieces away, or you'll be playing flag football. And for me, it always makes me feel good when the smartest man in the league basically echoes the exact same thing that I said. And then after I saw this, I started thinking to what I saw last night with hockey. You ever watch hockey?
I have in the past.
Why do we care about the safety of football and not the safety of that sport? Is it only because people don't watch it to the same degree?
Yeah, I guess.
Can you imagine a day where one of these gents that plays this sport goes, I have had 49 concussions and now I'm going to sue the NHL? You think that day's ever coming? Because for some reason, I don't. They interviewed somebody that plays for the Florida Panthers. I do not remember the guy's name. I genuinely think I'm wearing more hats right now than he has teeth. And he went on about how physical they were and all this. And all I could think about was, this is the guy that they bring up to discuss the Florida Panthers going to the Stanley Cup for the first time since 1996. And in football, well, we can't have a kickoff because with the percentages of say that. This is one of those hills that I'm completely prepared to die on. It's dumb, and I'm glad Andy Reid said it. He also showed up in his cool guy, the Hawaiian shirt.
Of course he did. Does he own anything else?
I don't think so.
No.
Andy Reid's entire wardrobe looks like a guy that's going on a Jamaican cruise.
100%.
How much cachet do you have to have before you just go, I'm pulling out the flowers? We're going red and white flowers today.
That is a whole lot of over 40, zero left to give.
How many pairs of New Balances do you think Andy Reid owns?
17.
At least.
Hell, he might have one of every model.
I was about to say, it's not even that he wears different ones. He just wears them out until they're no longer white anymore, and he buys another pair and throws the old ones in the back of the closet underneath his Hawaiian shirts.
No, he puts them in the garage because those are his grass mowing shoes.
No doubt.
Despite the fact that he has an entire crew of landscapers come do his yard. These are my yard working shoes. Oh, honey, you mean those are your walk around and look at sticks shoes? Okay, thanks.
Go out and look.
Look,
I
gotta call somebody to get rid of that log.
I own all of this, and that's cool. And now I'm going to go to Denny's and pound a Graham Slam. How about that? Right. Might get 2 of them. I'm coming around fully to the fact of if I was going to hang out with any coach in the NFL, I'm pretty sure it'd be Andy Reid.
Sloan Jordan says Andy Reid has a closet like a cartoon character. It's the exact same outfit, but the 30 copies of it are in his closet.
Exactly. I think Andy Reid is the one coach in the NFL that I could hang out with and be friends with.
Oh, no, Dan Campbell.
No, I didn't. Okay, me and Dan Campbell, one of us would die. Like straight Motor City Madman with his button-up shirt untucked as they're introducing their 2 first-round picks.
That's a weird way to say you die, but
look, you've bared witness. Jeremy's gonna hold his own. I think Dan Campbell and I'd have just a whale of a time. But I don't think either one of us would stop until one of us was in the hospital.
I was going to say, the eventual demise would come for one of you, and I don't know, he strikes me as the kind of guy that might make you tap.
Well, he might make me tap when he realizes I can outdrink him, and then he just puts me in a sleeper hold. Because he's one of the only – he is bigger than me, which is not common. But even with him, like, he's so intense. I mean, I think we would be a great day or two. Andy Reid, we could be like lifelong friends. You know, Andy just gives you the old call. I think I'm going to go get a moon over my hammy. That sound?
Hey, I hear the Double Down's back. We're going.
Yeah, we're hitting KFC right now.
Because they got rid of it before I could get one the last time.
He would also have been the one that told me if you order things off the Taco Bell app, they'll put Mexican pizza sauce on anything.
No, incorrect. Because he doesn't know how to work apps.
No, but
he thinks apps are the things that you eat before you eat the meal.
Taco Bell has an app? What is it? Are we talking nachos? Maybe a lovely quesadilla?
I didn't know they had an actual app. I just I just thought those 5 for $5 little tiny cheese burritos, I thought that was the app.
Are you one of the people that get it? I've always wondered why that's on the menu. It's just cheese loaded into a tortilla, and that does. Now that you've said that, you strike me as the guy that goes, "Give me 10 of them."
No, but I do know a guy.
I've discovered the beauty that is Mexican pizza sauce on everything.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm going one by one through the Taco Bell menu
and just putting it on everything.
I've tried it on probably half of it now.
Yeah. No, I'm too much of a creature of habit when it comes. Like when I go to a fast food restaurant, I can tell you what I'm going to get before. I mean, like you could ask me, what do you want from McDonald's? I don't know. I'll decide when I get there. And it's always the same thing. I always get the same thing. It's always a double quarter pounder, the deluxe one with the the veggies
Tomatoes
on it and the mayonnaise and all of that. Same thing every time. Never get a Big Mac or any.
Well, there's only one way to get a Big Mac. Double meat. Let's go.
Double meat Big Mac.
Double meat with a side of Big Mac sauce.
You and Andy Reid would be great friends.
Oh, no doubt. He would also challenge the we haven't talked about this on the show yet, but so I got married Saturday. I think we all know that at this point. I have been on a diet here for the last 3 weeks that could potentially make me a billionaire. Of somehow I have eaten and drank everything I could get my hands on, and I lost 11 pounds. That's a diet plan. I don't know how I did it.
I mean, it is yes. I mean, when we all use that word wrong. Like, I'm going on a diet. Well, we're all on a diet. Whatever you eat is your diet. Are you going on a healthy diet? No, I'm going on the Flostradamus die before I'm 40 diet.
Hey, I've made it further than people thought I would.
We could lose 11 pounds, but we're not actually getting any skinnier. That's actually just the cancer eating us from the inside out.
I'm clean. I've been to a doctor that recently. Just because I don't trust them doesn't mean that I don't heed their advice from time to time.
That's not normal. You have some kind of a
Taiwanese
tapeworm.
Yeah,
that's just.
It doesn't make any sense. I put my pants on for the tux, and I went, "This is not good." Like, and then somebody,
blousy.
Well, somebody felt the urge to at some point go, "You do know that there's straps on the side." Oh,
so you had adjustable pants.
Yeah. Well,
so you had a drawstring.
Sure did.
Now, what are you in prison?
No.
Good Lord, there's a whole prison theme happening with you lately. That
Kathy Mitchell, our lovely Mitchell's Tuxedos down there in the Asheville Mall, always takes care of us for our suiting needs, and she knows me. My weight fluctuates aggressively. She went, "No suspenders. Let's go adjustable sides."
There you go.
Bob Brown said, "Lost 11 pounds. Put your other foot back on the scale." Hey, I'd have said the same thing, except pants don't lie.
Quit leaning on the counter. Just put the finger here. Just if I just lift myself a little bit with this finger, I can make it go down.
Pants don't lie.
I don't see how it happens.
I don't either.
You're a witch.
I am a witch.
That's how it happened. You're a witch.
Spend 4 nights of domestic lights and all the cheeseburgers you can eat, and it worked.
You are in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
This would be a great time to point out that we only have 2 more shows before the end of our special early bird entry for the Beer City's Ultimate Fantasy Football Contest. If you're watching us on YouTube, you will see all the links to get in right there. If you're not, you can find all the links on all of our social medias. Soon-to-be intern Jake has taught me how to put them on Instagram, so they will be there later today. If you're an Instagram person, you're getting ready to see more of our stuff there, because that's not an app that I know what to do with. I don't take pictures. It's just not my thing. I finally found one yesterday of Amy and I's face from our wedding. Took 5 full days.
Mm-hmm.
Found the first one where, they did both have faces for the wedding. Had a great one of her face in the back of my head and vice versa. But had to scour the interwebs for, hey, here they are. Both of them at the same time.
So get in on the early bird contest here. You can get a ticket for $5 to get into the Ultimate Fantasy Draft Weekend contest. But also, if you buy into the battle for the belt,
buying into this will get you your entry into the battle for the belt. We'll have more details of all that.
If you buy the package.
Correct.
Because you could just buy tickets to get into the contest for $5.
Correct. And you get 2 up until the end of this month.
Right, but you start buying the season-long tiers to get into the DFS contest, the more money you'll spend, yes, but the more tickets you will get in the early bird special.
The more it benefits the Eblin Charity's charity projects over the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm. Double tickets into the drawing for the Ultimate Fantasy Draft weekend for you and your league. Leagues 12 and under. That's not age, that's people. We won't be doing a 32-man dynasty draft for you.
Yeah, we can't facilitate more than a 12-man league, but we will give you a red carpet experience for a weekend with your draft mates. We will host your draft. I will be Mullet Mel. We'll have Commissioner Spencer there and the guys from the Dude Takes podcast to make fun of some of your picks, comment on great picks. We will grade your drafts at the end of it. It's going to be a ton of fun.
We'll stream it online.
We will stream it online, and it's just going to be a good time. It goes to the proceeds go to a great cause, and we're greatly looking forward to this contest. And Patrick Holt just does stuff. I don't have a button for that.
I also like to live dangerously.
I'm just going to go with that one. He said, "Put me down for a hundo." You know what? Patrick Holt's
nice.
Patrick Holt's like my favorite.
How about this one?
Here comes the money.
Oh, there you go.
Go money talk.
Patrick Holt getting in on the contest, and you could do the same. Double the tickets for the fantasy draft weekend until next Wednesday. We will not be with you for the start of next week. We will be off for the Memorial Day holiday on Monday. We'll be taking a day off on Tuesday. Wednesday is a Braves game, so it's a perfect time for us to be able to take a little elongated weekend.
And we've got some new things to show you when we come back. We'll have intern Jake that's going to have a significant role on the program, and we're very excited about that. Because it allows us to do so many more things.
You are in the Sportsocracy. Sports Center is coming up next.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Spring in the South means the return of Atlanta Braves baseball.
There's a liner out towards center field. It will lay down. Here comes Ronald. Braves win it.
The 2023 Braves load up for another huge season.
The Braves play here on ESPN Asheville.
Great. It's yours. See you then.
Nathan's Tiki-themed bar is swimming in end-of-year party bookings.
Where can I find that many servers? They want headlamps? And I'm going to need to find a band.
He needs caterers to navigate the rising tide.
No, Mario, not your cousin's cover band.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Imagine transforming your outdoor space into a stylish and functional area for relaxation and entertainment. Imagine superior durability and longevity, ensuring that your investment lasts for years to come. Imagine whatever you'd like. Decorators Composite Decking, Railing, Balusters, and Accessories can help you create a deck that reflects your personal style and provides an inviting space for you and your loved ones to gather. Make your vision a reality. To learn more, visit Decorators.com. That's Decorators with a K.
Hi, this is Super Bowl champion Brad Johnson, inviting you to join me for the Wicked Weed Brad Johnson Golf Classic, June 13th at the Cliffs at Walnut Cove. This tournament is Evelyn Charity's largest annual fundraiser of the year, and we need your support more than ever. I look forward to seeing you for a great day of golf.
For more information about playing or a sponsorship, go to eblencharities.org, EBLEN charities.org. And we'll see you at beautiful Walnut Cove on June 13th.
Wendy's $3 breakfast deal is a bacon or sausage egg croissant plus small seasoned potatoes for $3. It's the breakfast that don't miss. So if you did miss Wendy's breakfast, don't imagine. Fresh cracked eggs, sizzling sausage, crispy bacon, and block out those hot, buttery, flaky croissants. Croissants don't really make a sound, but if they did, for a breakfast that don't miss, Wendy's is that breakfast. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's $3 breakfast deal.
Limited time only. Participating U.S. Wendy's. Select a request $3 breakfast deal to obtain discount. Not valid for a la carte or combo orders.
Coffee's the closers only. Get them the money. Then when you get the money, you get the power. That watch costs more than your car. Then when you get the power, then you get the woman.
Well, I wasn't bold enough in Game 4. I wanted to take the Celtics. I hinted at it, and then I didn't do it. But a loss is a loss. Tonight, Game 5, and I have a dedicated take. This is Green on Green, brought to you by Ingles Markets. Low prices, love the savings. How long is it going to take before we stop disrespecting the Miami Heat? I understand Boston won Game 4. I understand this game is in Boston. I also understand that Miami dominated the first 3 games of this series, and Boston hasn't been that good at home. But they're an 8-point favorite tonight in the TD Garden, over-under 215. I'll start with the easier part. Over-under, this game is going over because I feel like this is going to be the exact opposite of what we saw early in this series. This will be a back and forth. It'll be close. And I don't think you're really going to have to struggle with 215. That part's easy. Now for the hard part. No Gabe Vincent for the Miami Heat, which that hurts. That means you're going to have more minutes for Duncan Robinson, and I just don't love that. Gabe Vincent's been easily the 3rd best player on this team. And without him for Miami, I don't think they have a shot of winning. Now, the disrespect is real. And I've made a great amount of money in these playoffs dealing with the disrespect for the Miami Heat. So I'll take Boston to win outright over 215, but give me the Miami Heat to keep it close, plus the 8. We'll go to a Game 6, and guess what? Miami will win that, and it'll all be over. The fact that their odds to win the NBA championship took that big a dive after Game 4 is absolutely stupid. For more, follow us on all the social medias at The Sportsocracy. And as always, love the savings with Ingles, love the winnings with me. Mullet out.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, this weekend, the rain takes over the forecast, unfortunately, right for the holiday. Looks like some heavy rain coming in for Saturday afternoon as a coastal low marches off the Atlantic into the Carolina forecast, and the northeast winds are going to be brisk here for Friday and into the weekend. We're in the mid-50s tonight, partly to mostly cloudy Friday, high 70, heavy rain Saturday, breezy northeast winds 57. I'm meteorologist Scott Lariamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Print and Marketing Services help small business print big. Now get $15 off signs, banners, and posters when you spend $75 or more. Offer ends July 1st. Visit staples.com/printbig for details. This is your sign to try Staples, where your prints are perfect guaranteed.
At Tyson Furniture, we have a huge selection of furniture, honest values, and great service. We are a big store, and Black Mountain has wonderful restaurants and interesting shops to explore. Visit us at Tyson Furniture in Black Mountain, where beautiful homes begin.
Saturday, June 3rd, Just Running presents the Flying Squirrel 10-miler. It's a 10-mile road race benefiting the Southern Appalachian Highland Conservancy. You'll run through a challenging and scenic course that takes runners on a mix of pavement and gravel roads through North Asheville. You can share your love of running, push your limits, and enjoy Asheville's natural beauty at the 2nd annual Flying Squirrel 10-miler. For more information and to get signed up, go to justrunning.com, JUS running.com. Proudly sponsored by iHeartMedia, Asheville.
iHeart gives you access to the hottest music, events, and deals. But on June 1st,
we're giving you access like never before. It's iHeartRadio Access Day, our 24-hour way of saying thank you for listening. Go to iHeartRadioAccessDay.com today.
Want a $100 shopping spree on the latest fashion, home goods, or beauty products? Well, that's what Temu, the most downloaded app in the App Store, is offering on iHeartRadio Access Day. So head to iHeartRadioAccessDay.com today to register for reminders when deals go live on June 1st.
The Sportsocracy.
The ceiling is the roof. Let's make it happen. Let's keep moving forward.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. It's never happened in the NBA playoffs, winning a series after trailing 3-0. With a win tonight, the Celtics would only be halfway there. And ESPN's Brian Windhorst says Boston tends to play their best when they're either behind or way ahead.
Well, I would say tonight's game, if you are a Celtics fan, you probably want them to be down going into the second half and the fourth quarter. If they're up 4-6 points, look out.
Brian Windhorst on Get Up. Celtics and Heat, Game 5 tonight. No Gabe Vincent for Miami. He's got a left ankle sprain. Our coverage starts at 8 Eastern on ESPN Radio. In the Stanley Cup playoffs tonight, Game 4 of the West Final with the Vegas Golden Knights playing for a sweep of the Stars in Dallas. 8 Eastern for that one on ESPN TV. Veteran safety Tony Jefferson retiring after 9 years in the NFL to become a scout for the Ravens. And Team USA beats the Czech Republic 3-0 in the World Hockey Championship quarterfinals in Finland.
It's Wrangler season out there. Open roads, endless horizons. Shop Wrangler.com for new denim styles made for your next adventure. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Green, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingalls Supermarkets.
It is the Sportsocracy. We are live in the Ingalls studio on ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. We are. You can take us with you everywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app. See us everywhere on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com. Click the live video link. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat. Join the House of Reprehensibles, and you too can make great contributions through super chats like Patrick Holt did in the last hour. Just absolutely love our diehards, our fan base, our family of this show.
I should tell you something, that there were, 40, were there 50 people at my wedding?
Mm-hmm.
Like 12 of them were diehard listeners of this show. That should really tell you everything about the show that you need to know.
Absolutely.
And my wife was the one that facilitated a lot of that because I didn't know a lot of you were coming.
Right. At risk of being sued by Jimmy Fallon, when you're here, you're family. Sloan Jordan said that he loves this show and he gets other people turned on to it because of the community atmosphere, the family atmosphere that we bring to it. So, watching the draft coverage when Bob Brown came up from Florida to join us at the Village Porch for the draft, and he got on camera, it was like a celebration for the entire House of Reprehensibles. Like, we've all made it now because Bob's been on the show. I just love it.
It is. I've always said that I think we have a very we have a different kind of sports show. I'm sure there's some people that don't love that, and there's a lot to do. And that's names on the door. That's how we started this.
Absolutely.
It's how we continue, how we plan on continuing to do it.
Absolutely. OTAs going on in the NFL. You got, you got coaches talking to the media. You got players talking to the media, as we referenced in the first hour of the program. Devontae Adams already not real happy with how things are going with the Las Vegas Raiders.
You got New England getting punished for doing something in OTAs that they weren't allowed to do.
Who's shocked?
What's more football than that?
Who's shocked? The New England Patriots once again in trouble with the league. After the scandals that they've had over the years, and now they've broken some unnamed rule, Did we ever find out what it was? Was this too much
scheduling thing?
Too much time in the room or something?
I think it was a coaching scheduling thing. I read the story and I'm not. I woke up with a headache that felt like they were doing road work on my forehead.
Yeah,
so I haven't. I've read a lot today. Don't know how much of it I've actually digested.
They lost 2 OTA practices, basically. You can have 2 fewer OTA sessions.
One today and one next week.
Right. Than the rest of the league is allowed to have. Doesn't matter because they're not a contender anyway.
At Sports Tank ESPN. For once, the New England fans can get after him instead of me.
Fire away. Again, we've been saying it for a few weeks now. It feels like a couple of months. You got a good argument, bring it to us. Haven't heard one yet. Shane Steichen is very excited about Anthony Richardson. Went in front of the media today saying Anthony Richardson is doing next level stuff in OTAs.
Of course he is.
Which is awesome. Good. Is he ready to start right now?
I will be shocked. And somebody asked me this earlier in the week. How many of the rookies will start week 1? And I fully believe there will be 5 that start games this year.
Mm-hmm.
3 because they're the franchise quarterback. A 4th one because we always have a 4th one. And then Hendon Hooker, I have a weird feeling, is going to find a way onto a field at some point. I don't know if it's injury or whatever the case may be.
So Jared Goff goes down or something. Or they lock up this division with 4 weeks left in the season.
Could be a slew of things. I mean, look, I'm on record as saying I like this Lions team, but you have not legitimately proven anything to me. But I don't think there's any way Bryce doesn't play week 1. I mean, Josh McCown has basically come out and said it. Frank Reich has come out and said it.
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about the point of his release and how he's going to be so much more successful than quarterbacks that are taller than him because he releases the ball differently and it jumps out on film. I don't see a path he doesn't start week 1. Do you?
No. You talking about Anthony?
No, I'm talking about Bryce Young.
Oh, Bryce Young. No, there's no chance.
No, I'm gonna get to Anthony Richardson at the end of this.
Yeah, no, there's no chance that Andrew Dalton is starting.
C.J. Stroud with the news that came out of Houston yesterday that basically Davis Mills is refusing to mentor C.J. Stroud because he still feels like this is a competition.
It's not.
Bro, you are the smartest dumb person I've ever met in my life. Like, you got a degree from Stanford, and you are still a moron. Because the only way that C.J. Stroud doesn't start week 1 is if he can't physically walk. That's it. That's not a competition. None of that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Indianapolis, I feel a little different.
Because of Gardner?
It's not just because of Gardner. I mean, Davis Mills has proven to be not a good one, but he's a starter caliber player in the NFL. Andrew Dalton has been a starter caliber player in the NFL for a long time. I could actually make the argument that Gardner's the worst of the 3. He's got the highest upside, but he's also got the lowest floor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that they're going to rush Anthony Richardson in. I don't think Indianapolis has misgivings that they're going anywhere in the AFC this year. Do you agree?
I agree.
Carolina thinks they could win the NFC North, or the NFC South, excuse me.
Yes. Legitimate path.
Houston has no reason to be bad. You don't have your pick, so it doesn't benefit you in any way.
Mm-hmm.
Still, unequivocally, the stupidest move I've ever seen. But then I look at Indianapolis and go, why would I rush Anthony Richardson? I mean, I know he's doing next level things in shorts. Of course he is. He's a freak athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Offenses are historically ahead of defenses at this point because it's not that hard.
But in Indianapolis, why would I want to wait?
Well, I can give you 2 reasons for that. One is to avoid breaking Richardson because, I mean, look at the first half of their schedule. And so you start with the Jaguars in week 1. I don't care if you start Gardner Minshew, Anthony Richardson, Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning, Johnny Unitas. You're losing that game.
Mm-hmm.
That one's in Indy. You play them again in your first 8. Play at the Texans, at the Ravens, the Rams, Titans in Indy, Cleveland, New Orleans. There are a lot of really good defenses on that schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So do you go trial by fire? Or do you try to bring the kid along and then wait for an opening in the schedule? Because there is one. You go Panthers, Patriots, Bucks, Titans. That, to me, is where you throw the rookie in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you told me Gardner Minshew started 17 games, how many games did the Colts win? 5?
Maybe.
How many did they win with Anthony Richardson?
6.
I would say 5. I don't think there's a difference.
Okay.
He will win some for you that Gardner would probably lose. He will lose some for you that Gardner would probably win.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say it all washes out with bathwater in the end.
Right.
But why would I subject him to in Baltimore off the jump? There's this misnomer that just every top 5, top 10 quarterback starts right out of the chute, and it's just not true.
No, it's not true.
About half start within the first 4 to 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
There's another quarter that starts sometime between that 4 to 6 week mark and week 12. And then you got a few more that get peppered in there.
I would be more worried about starting C.J. Stroud week 1 than I would Anthony Richardson.
Well, and this is why I had such a big problem with what Houston did at the draft. I don't disagree with anything you just said.
Okay.
You also have no incentive to not do it. C.J. Stroud's the more talented of the two quarterbacks. I don't think anybody would ever argue that.
No, but it's the do I want to get him killed thing.
Well, you should have thought about that before you traded your pick next year, because you've basically pilfered your ability to help him.
I agree.
So you don't have a choice. He's going to get trial by fire, whether you like it or not.
Oh, I agree. There's no shot that he's not starting for the Houston Texans. But what I'm saying is, it's two different situations, because I feel like Indianapolis has pieces in place that will be able to protect Anthony Richardson. I believe in that offensive line. I get they didn't have the greatest of years last year, but there were a lot of injuries. There's a lot of talent on that offensive line. We've been saying this about the Atlanta Falcons for years. They got a lot of capital wrapped up into that line.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing in Indianapolis. You know, it was spotty there with Atlanta for a while, and then what happened last year? They were one of the best, or they're the best version of that offensive line has ever been.
Well, Indy also has Jonathan Taylor, and Anthony Richardson is a prodigious runner of the football.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like I can better protect Anthony Richardson in Indianapolis than I can protect C.J. Stroud in Houston. So I would be more willing, because of that, to start Anthony week 1 rather than C.J. Stroud week 1 behind what he's going to be faced with.
And again, if you had your pick next year, I would agree with every bit of that, because Houston's schedule starts off aggressive, because they're at Baltimore, home to the Colts, at the Jaguars, Steelers, at the Falcons, Saints, at the Panthers, Bucks, at the Bengals. There's not a whole lot of missed defenses in there. And I'm going to say, we do this every year with quarterbacks. We had 3 go in the first round. We had 5 go in the top, 60-something?
Mm-hmm.
When you have 5 quarterbacks like that, one of them is the definition of average. One of them is a historic bust. One of them is a star, and the other 2 fall in somewhere. If I had to tell you right now one of them was going to be a bust, it'd be C.J. Stroud. And for me, it's not even close. It's not even kind of close, because this is the worst situation he could possibly be in. That report card came out from the NFLPA about the worst organizations in sports. Yep. The Texans were behind the Cardinals,
mm-hmm.
who apparently had floorboards sticking out in their weight room.
Right.
The Texans were behind that. And now you've got a lame duck GM. I love your coach. I love DeMeco Ryans. I think he's going to be a good coach in this league. I don't know if it'll be with Houston, because that team is a long way away. And I just keep hearing these things about how improved the roster is. No, it's not. No, it's not. This is still a borderline XFL roster, and if you have even a modicum of injuries, it's going to show.
Yep. Which I like that you said that way, because earlier today I was reading an article on ESPN.com from our good friend Bill Barnwell. He's always a good.
He's fun.
He always gives us a good little nugget.
Yeah, he said the Jets had the 10th worst offseason of any team in the NFL.
That's where I was headed. He's in his ranking which is a two-parter. He only gave you 17 through 32 today. I'm guessing 1 through 16 is coming tomorrow, of the best to worst, or worst to best, I guess, off seasons of every team in the NFL. He had the New York Jets, who got Aaron Rodgers, ranked behind the Houston Texans, who made probably one of the biggest draft day gaffes we've ever seen.
Yes.
I should tell you everything you need to know.
Well, I mean, look, Bill's a smart guy. He looks at the sport differently. I mean, I read what he said, and I'll be honest with you, I don't disagree with anything he said.
Really?
I disagree with the number.
Okay.
Where you put them is in, and I'm talking solely about the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
The Houston Texans are being overvalued in a way that I don't know that I've ever seen before. This is the old man wearing the red shirt with the red shirt going, look, I got a gift. Yeah, it's the same one you got on there, Bill. I don't know what people want.
Mm-hmm.
But this camp hype on Anthony Richardson, it doesn't surprise me. It really doesn't. Satisfied Browns fan said if he wasn't for ESPN, y'all would have blasted him. I've blasted Bill on this show before because
100%.
There have been times that he said things that are really, really stupid. His ranking of the Jets is insane. Some of the things he said about other teams are insane. I'm not pulling kid gloves here. The only thing I said about the Barnwell article, I read what he said about the Jets, and I'm not going to say I disagree because outside of Aaron Rodgers, it's a whole bunch of cast of Aaron and friends. And friends does not make me feel warm and fuzzy on the inside.
Right.
Aaron does. So, for me, you're top 12 in the NFL off season just on that.
Mm-hmm.
So I disagree with him vehemently there. The thing I've always respected about Bill Barnwell is no matter how much I disagree with his take, he can explain it in a way that I go, well, I see how you got there. I don't agree with it, but I at least see how you got there.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of people in sports media that say things just to say them. Man, I wanted to say about 11 names right there, and I didn't do it. I'm so proud of me.
Also, I mean, look, the Indianapolis Colts are not the only ones that are hyping up their draft picks this year, namely at quarterback. Jeremy, you said there were 5 guys, 5 rookies that you expect to start games for their teams this year. I agree with you. There is a group of 5. You said one name, though, that I don't agree with. There's another one that's going to start some games for his team this year, and I have a feeling it's really going to take you off. We'll talk about that up next here in the Sportsocracy.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Driving slow 240 westbound between Shuns Cove Road and Montford Avenue. Future 26 eastbound slow between Riverside Drive and 240. 26 eastbound slow between Brevard Road and Long Shoals Road. 26 eastbound near East Flat Rock is crawling between the US 25 connector and Ozone Drive. 26 westbound slow between Hendersonville Road and Long Shoals Road. Near the North Carolina Arboretum, Brevard Road southbound between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Clayton Road, very busy. Near Avery Creek, Brevard Road north and southbound approaching Long Shoals Road, very busy. Hendersonville Road northbound is stop and go approaching Fanning Bridge Road. Hendersonville Road northbound again slow approaching Long Shoals Road. Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road, delays. I'm Lee Minfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
In this week's Marketers Report, Chris Brandt, Chief Marketing Officer at Chipotle Mexican Grill, weighs in on the power of audio.
We've used audio to reinforce what we're showing on TV, what we're showing in other digital channels. When your priority is driving reach, boy, everybody seems to listen to the radio.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the audiences, conversations, trusted influencers, insights, and data you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
Grab your shades, your flip-flops, and your free iHeartRadio app for the unofficial start of summer 2023. No matter where you go this summer, your favorite radio station, the music you love, and the best podcasts in the world will be along for the adventure. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
This is a weekly test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
Progressive presents an ad from Mom.
What does it say here? Bundle your home and auto insurance with Progressive and get protection round the clock. You know what? I'm sorry. I think it should be around. What are you signaling? Me to stop talking? Oh, all right. I'll stop talking. No, Just had to tell me. That's all you had
Get
to do.
round-the-clock protection when you bundle and save with Progressive. It's easier than getting your mom to make this radio ad. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
Wendy's $3 breakfast deal is a bacon or sausage egg croissant plus small seasoned potatoes for $3. It's the breakfast that don't miss. So if you did miss Wendy's breakfast, don't imagine. Fresh cracked eggs, sizzling sausage, crispy bacon, and block out those hot, buttery, flaky croissants. Croissants don't really make a sound, but if they did, for a breakfast that don't miss, Wendy's is that breakfast. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's $3 breakfast deal.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Select a request $3 breakfast deal to obtain discount. Not valid for a la carte or combo orders.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. You know, changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Valvoline Advanced can help your engine get more miles. Right now, buy a 5-quart jug and get a free STP Extended Life Oil Filter. That's right, free. Get started on your next job today with the parts you need, when you need them, at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Sportsocracy.
Just dump a bag of hammers.
Back here in the Sportsocracy, don't forget your chance to get double the tickets into the Ultimate Fantasy Draft Weekend contest until Wednesday. We only have a show today and tomorrow before Wednesday, though.
And then we have 5 days of what I can only describe as manna in the desert of time off, because I didn't take much around the wedding.
Right.
And I've been battling it all week long.
Memorial Day weekend, not a bad time to pick up a little vacay time. So, we will rejoin you next Thursday after tomorrow. We will be live tomorrow, but we'll be taking Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week off. But, again, double tickets on the Ultimate Draft Fantasy Draft Weekend contest end Wednesday. So we're going to hit this as many times as we can over the next 2 shows.
Correct. And Patrick Holt and Jacob Eckel have thrown their hats into the ring during this here show. And Tank, this is how bad Jeremy's brain is broken right now. Tank had to point out that that's probably Jekyll.
Yeah.
And I didn't even cross my mind.
Screen name Jay Eckel.
Well,
we've been calling him Jekyll forever. He goes, Jacob Eckel. I don't know who that is, but that's a,
I said that name.
name.
I was like, it sounds familiar, but I don't know why.
I didn't figure it out till you spelled it, because you just told me the name and I wrote it down. And I used to know a guy named Dave Eccles, and he spelled it Echol. So that's how I wrote it down. And then when you said Eckel, I went, oh, well, that's Jekyll.
Well, here's and I'm going to explain this the only way I can. You people that get married, and then so you get married, you have the reception, and you leave at like 11 o'clock and say, oh, we got to get on a flight at 6 o'clock tomorrow. You're witches. I got married Saturday. It's Thursday. I almost said the wrong day. I'm so far out of sorts that the fact I put my pants on the right direction is a little shocking.
Mm-hmm. Now, going into the break, we were talking about rookie quarterbacks that could start for their teams this year. Jeremy, you mentioned you thought there were 5, and I agree with you. One of those names I didn't have, though, on my list. You said Hendon Hooker, which, I guess maybe at some point he finds his way onto the field for the Detroit Lions late in the season, or God forbid there's an injury.
Well, you often find a rookie, and he's one of the only ones that doesn't have somebody blocking him. So not as many quarterbacks as you would think start 17 games a year.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go back and look through statistically, I think last year it was 6. So the odds are forever in my favor that at some point Hendon Hooker will get on a field.
I think 3 of them start week 1.
Richardson, Stroud, Bryce Young.
Yes, all the top 3 will start week 1.
I'm not 100% sure Will Levis doesn't start week 1, but
yeah, I can't see that. I mean, unless the Tennessee Titans just completely tap out on Ryan Tannehill, cut him completely, and go, okay, we're rolling with Will Levis, which I don't see.
Do you see a path
happening.
of that?
No,
I don't either.
I don't. I see them cutting him and renegotiating, or bringing him on for less money. I don't know off the top of my head what his cap hit is, but it's somewhere in the neighborhood of $30 million, I think. No guaranteed money left on it. And so, You cut him, renegotiate for a lesser price.
Oh, yeah, his dead cap's $18.8 million and then would carry for 2 more years because he's got void years. Yeah, they're probably not doing that. If you're going to have him on the roster, he's on the roster where he's at.
Is that post June 1?
Give me a minute.
Look at the post June 1 because I think that number changes. Not positive on that, but I believe that's correct.
Pushes some of it down the line.
Okay.
Save $27 million.
There you go.
Post June 1.
There you go. You can save $27 million by cutting him and renegotiating.
You're going to carry 4.5 both of the next 2 years, regardless of what you do. So, yeah,
right.
I mean, I guess there is a possibility.
Right. So I think that's the path for them. Ryan Tannehill's the starter. We'll see how it goes. I don't see this being a good season for them. So eventually Will Levis will take over. They will realize the upside is higher with him, and he gets into the into the starting role later in the season.
How long do you think that takes?
I'm going to say...
But before you answer, the first 6 games of their season, at the Saints, Chargers, at the Browns, Bengals, at the Colts, Ravens. You could be 1-5.
You could be.
Could be 3-3.
But I don't think the expectation is for you to be much better than that. I don't feel like there's an expectation that you start out the season 4-2.
Well, that goes into the bye.
Right. I think the expectation would be more 2-4.
Well, if they're 2-4 going into the bye, you play the Falcons on the backside of the bye. Will Levis will start that game.
Maybe so.
I don't see any way around it.
Maybe so. I was going to say I would say that Ryan Tannehill gets half the season, and then we'll go from there. But if they wanted to make the change at the bye week, it makes all the sense in the world. No, to me, the 5th rookie quarterback that's going to start a game for his team this year.
I have a feeling you're about to say
is
something.
none other
than
pew pew Cowboy Hat Bennett. You just wait. Matthew Stafford. I'm not one to predict injuries, but we were real concerned that this could be the end for Matthew Stafford. He gets dinged up. They're throwing Stetson Bennett in there. I guarantee you.
I don't know that you're right.
Really?
Well, he's listed as the 3 right now. You got Brett Rippon as the 2. I mean, if you have – Stetson Bennett's not an NFL quarterback. I mean, frankly, I almost hope you're right. Oh, stop.
I don't know.
Oh, did my Frank Sinatra take rub off on you?
Better than Mac Jones right now. Not close. I mean, it is close, but
I'm going to repeat what you said about that. Is the stupidest thing I think I've ever heard you say. Stetson Bennett, if you 3-deeped every roster in the NFL, there are 32 teams. 32 times 3 is 96. He is 96. And I don't think it's even all that close. I am dumbfounded that any team in the NFL looked at him and went, oh, yeah, we're going to use a 4th-round pick on him. There's nothing there. I watched the tape backwards and forwards. There is nothing there.
Nothing there. He doesn't
as an NFL quarterback.
Doesn't have the arm strength.
You know, he reminds me of
any accuracy.
I'll give you the perfect comp to him.
Okay.
Greg McElroy. He reminds me so much of Greg McElroy. It is pathetic, and I loved him. There was a time that I thought he could be the next quarterback of the Jets, and then he started a game, and I went, "Oh, good God, you're not even as athletic as I am." Like, I think in a feats of strength, I would beat you. And so, the Stetson Bennett thing, I hope you do it, just so I can sit back and laugh at it. There's nothing there. And he's wearing my number, which just makes me angry. 13 does not go to pew-pew. It's a special number shared between Dan Marino, myself, and many other great athletes over the years.
Stetson Bennett's the one. I'm not saying it's going to be good, and I'm not saying he's got a future as a starter.
No, but you did just say he was better than Mac Jones, which is the most I know you don't believe that, and you're doing it to incite people.
Of course I am.
I had to get that out loud. Bill Belichick said Mac Jones is better than any Tampa Bay quarterback from 2002 to 2020. I'm taking Brad Johnson out of that because he's our buddy, and we love Brad. I will see him soon.
I don't think he's better than Jameis. I really don't. He might hold on to the ball better. His ball security might be better, but you know what?
That's like comparing a Kia Soul to whatever car Michael Jordan just bought. Yeah, it'll go 300 miles an hour, but if you go over $110, the engine will fall out. That's Jameis Winston.
Right.
Yeah, you could just be driving down the road and go full Fred Flintstone, like beep, beep, beep. Yeah, I don't know that I can agree with you there.
Really?
No. The good's better.
Oh, 100%.
The bad is
it's atrocious.
Shoo, buddy.
It's absolutely atrocious.
Shoo, buddy.
But you know what? I will take the high sides more than I will just meh. Here's your dry white toast.
Yeah, I won't. I'll take that all day. Yeah, because you're pew pew cowboy hat Bennett. He is a stale saltine cracker, one with nothing on it. I'm confounded that we have gotten to this point of, well, he was the 6th quarterback drafted, which means he could start a game. Well, yeah, if the team bus gets lost in Winslow, Arizona, and they have to put 53 players on a field with a Rams logo on it, then yeah, theoretically he could play. He's awful.
He's not awful.
He is, NFL quarterback-wise, he is awful.
Okay.
I told you going in, I don't have a draftable grade on him. I laughed out loud when the Rams took him.
Because of the size? Is that it?
The size is part of it, but it's not all of it. He doesn't have an NFL arm. He just doesn't. You watch things that you look for out of a quarterback from a scouting perspective. I have never seen not one of them. But he's a gamer. Well, so is Max Duggan. I didn't have a draftable grade on him, and I laughed at the Chargers for taking him in the 7th round, and he's better than Stetson Bennett.
Stop that.
Every team in the NFL outside of the Los Angeles Rams would have agreed with what I just said.
We'll
Every
never know.
one of them.
We'll never know.
Yeah, because the Rams went, oh, we got to have him. Do it now. And frankly, I hope you play him for 6 games because he will make Baker Mayfield look like Dan Marino. And I am here for it.
I'm just looking forward to the Jeremy meltdown that is going to come when Sean McVay steps to the podium and goes, Stetson Bennett will be our starting quarterback this week.
I don't understand what it would take to get to that point.
Matthew Stafford goes down. End of message, repeat the line. They're not starting Brett Rippon over Stetson Bennett.
It depends on where you're at.
I guarantee you they'll come out of training camp.
Well,
Stetson Bennett will be the number 2.
I don't know that I agree with you. Because you talk about breaking quarterbacks. You put Pew Pew behind this offensive line, he may actually die. We may have to pick pieces of him up off the field.
Possibly so.
And this has bad news bears
of course it
written
does.
all over it.
This is why they're one of the worst teams in the league. People don't want to see it because they just won a Super Bowl trophy a couple of years ago. And they go, oh, this team still has a good core. No.
Good core, 3 deep. Who's the 4th best player on that roster?
This is a dead tree with 3 limbs still alive on it.
This is basically like you got stranded in the desert and you found a coconut tree that's dead, but there's still 3 coconuts that look like they might not have rotted from the inside out.
Exactly.
We got one more of these.
I'm your huckleberry.
Before we go to break, this is from one of our resident Canadans, Mr. Gage Camplin. Serious question. Would you take Carson Wentz or Jameis Winston?
Right now?
Yes.
Jameis Winston.
Carson Wentz, not close. Wouldn't think about it for a minute. Would not think about it for 5 seconds.
Okay.
Bad Jameis is still a thing. And now I guess I shouldn't have said wouldn't think about it. Because I guess it depends on oh, no, it doesn't because they're the same age. No, for me it's Carson Wentz.
Really?
I mean, he's a broken toy, but he's a broken toy that I've at least seen be good. Jameis was a stat accumulator to the highest degree.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say something that you're going to gristle at because Jameis was, and I know you didn't love him, but the difference between Jameis Winston and Justin Fields is like fractional. Oh, because you're a fantasy football stat accumulator. But in terms of watching real life football, I have never looked at either one and gone, oh, yeah, you're going to lead a team to the playoffs.
Okay, I can buy. I mean, I'm game with that.
One of these days, I'm going to write a book about how fantasy football broke the way we watch football, because it has made. We got to take a break. I want to get into this after the break. Just the look you gave me right there. I might go on a little tirade. That's what I do. Apology. But this is something that I feel like needs to be said.
Oh, you're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, this weekend, the rain takes over the forecast, unfortunately, right for the holiday. Looks like some heavy rain coming in for Saturday afternoon as a coastal low marches off the Atlantic into the Carolina forecast, and the northeast winds are going to be brisk here for Friday and into the weekend. We're in the mid-50s tonight, partly to mostly cloudy Friday, high 70, heavy rain Saturday, breezy northeast winds 57. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow 240 westbound between Chuns Cove Road and Montford Avenue. Future 26 eastbound slow between Riverside Drive and 240. 26 eastbound slow between Bavard Road and Long Shoals Road. Near the Gorge Zip Line, 26 eastbound crawling between the US 25 connector and Ozone Drive. 26 westbound slow between Hendersonville Road and Bavard Road. Near the North Carolina Arboretum, Bavard Road north and southbound stop and go between Clayton Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Near Avery Creek, Bavard Road north and southbound approaching Long Shoals Road is slow. Hendersonville Road northbound approaching Fanning Bridge Road and Fletcher. Traffic is stop and go. Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Verizon. Ready to take control of your phone plan? Well, then you better take that next turn to a Verizon store. Because my plan from Verizon is the kind of control we all deserve. Get exactly what you want. Only pay for what you need. Get my plan at your Verizon store today.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Haley, quote, "Navage is the best thing I bought. I love it. My nose feels so clear now and I can breathe. I've been struggling with a stuffy nose for weeks. I bought Navage and it's amazing." Or this one, "I use Navage every night, could not imagine life without it. I have 5 cats and before I found Navage, I was a clogged mess. Now I breathe so much better," unquote. Those are 2 of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
Wendy's $3 breakfast deal is a bacon or sausage egg croissant plus small seasoned potatoes for $3. It's the breakfast that don't miss. So if you did miss Wendy's breakfast, don't imagine. Fresh cracked eggs, sizzling sausage, crispy bacon, and block out those hot, buttery, flaky croissants. Croissants don't really make a sound, but if they did, for a breakfast that don't miss, Wendy's is that breakfast. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's $3 breakfast deal.
Limited time only. Participating U.S. Wendy's. Select a request $3 breakfast deal to obtain discount. Not valid for a la carte combo orders.
At Blue Ridge Health, everyone deserves access to top-notch, compassionate health care, no matter their insurance or income status. Keep your family healthy with updated immunizations for COVID-19, flu, chickenpox, and shingles. Health care for all people, including you. Learn more at brchs.com.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
It is the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, and back in the Ingalls studio, it's time to get weird. I love it when people just find a way to scam money out of anybody. And I think this really takes the cake. Like, this reminds me of do you remember the story that we did? It's been a while. About I think she was a social media influencer who captured her own flatulence in a jar.
Yes.
And sold it to people online.
Yes. That was the day that I realized my life would be a lot easier if I was a really attractive woman instead of a giant leprechaun-looking lumberjack.
This is kind of like that, only the influencer's idea was way smarter than this. Because, I mean, at least she was involved in the product that you were selling. Apparently, Taylor Swift fans are going online and they're selling little tiny jars of rain captured at her concerts. And they're apparently selling for $250 for a little, like what looks like, I don't know, probably your average, like, I'm trying to think, Avon skin cream, you know, that those little things that your wife gets. It's like that, only it's got water in it, and it's labeled from Gillette Stadium. Rainwater from the Taylor Swift concert.
Now, but for why?
Because apparently Swifties, as I just learned what her fans were called.
Never use that term ever again.
Swifties love the rain.
So Tay-Tay in the rain is
apparently it increases the enjoyment of her shows. I guess. So here's the thing.
You know
when it rains at a Taylor Swift show, this is how the story goes. When it rains at a Taylor Swift show, she has so many songs that talk about the rain and how she's so sad that her 17th boyfriend is broken up with her because she's just an insufferable person. Which, I mean, she never says that, but I imagine that's what every boyfriend of hers has ever been. Like, holy cow. I mean, you've got a great voice, you've got millions of dollars in the bank, and you are very attractive, but damn, I can't stand you anymore.
I disagreed with one of those things, but I feel like we should move past that. I feel like Taylor Swift is one of – so when my best man gave the speech at the wedding, he basically talked about some of my previous less than ideal decisions. I feel that Taylor Swift is that girl at a slew of weddings across the country. You remember what John was dating that girl? What was her name again? Tay-Tay. Whew, glad you got out of that one, buddy.
And look, I can understand the sentiment because there are scenarios where rain can make a concert better. But I don't understand how you get to this point where you just go, oh, yeah, this person says they were. I mean, what is to stop somebody from just putting tap water into one of these jars and going, here, rainwater.
Got it. There you go. And here's the thing. You'd never know the difference.
Exactly.
Because it's all water.
Exactly. I put Taylor Swift's name on it. You're going to give me $250 for a tiny jar full of water.
Well, you said that rain could make a Taylor Swift concert more enjoyable.
Maybe. I don't know.
You know
I'm not a Swiftie.
You know what would make a Taylor Swift concert more enjoyable for me?
What's that?
A power outage. And I am reasonably convinced. I have, for 30 years, I have been of the belief that Joe Namath sold his soul to an evil spirit for the win in Super Bowl III.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm reasonably sure that same spirit signed a contract with Taylor Swift to make her famous. Because for the life of me, I cannot figure out why she is.
You don't think she's talented? You don't think
I have never heard a Taylor Swift song that I would listen to over the sound of four cats fighting in a burlap sack over a piece of cheese. I have never heard a Taylor Swift song that was more aesthetically pleasing than the sound of car wrecks. I have never heard a Taylor Swift song that I'm even sure was sung in a language that I understand because I can't turn it off fast enough when I hear her voice. Does that explain it appropriately?
I guess. Ignorance is bliss. I don't know. She's a very talented singer. I don't know what's wrong with you. You can recognize talent and hate the product. I mean, that's clear.
My wife has told me multiple times that I missed a great opportunity to be a defense attorney, and so I'm now going to provide my closing arguments in the shape of but a sentence. The players gonna play, and the haters gonna hate, and I'm just gonna shake it off. That is a song that made her $1 billion.
Bingo.
And that makes me sad for the world. My story comes from a podcast. It's the Unfiltered Bride podcast. Didn't know that was a thing.
Okay.
Apparently, it is a podcast done by a couple of Gloucestershire wedding planners. I didn't say that correctly, and I don't care. That talk about things of the bridal happenings. Okay.
So they talk about weddings.
Yes.
All right.
Basically.
They
talk about
bridal happenings.
Yes.
That's the first time I've ever heard them.
Well, I was trying to class it up a little bit. They talk about stuff that happens at weddings. And somebody sent me this story, and I felt the urge to share it. They never share the name of the bride or the groom in this story. Apparently, this couple been together for a while, and the groom found out some things before the wedding that he was not fond of. But he still went through with the wedding. Not because he wanted to work things out, but because he chose violence. And his savage rating was a 10. So they go through the vows. Apparently, he has the wedding license in his pocket, which he never had signed by the officiant, which is real important to this story in just a minute.
Okay.
So they go through the whole thing. They do the first dance, and then it comes to the speeches. But the groom says, I want to give the first speech. And as he does, he has a family member that hands out envelopes to all of the participants of this wedding, and it has a picture in it of the bride and the best man, and they are kissing in public. And he goes full mic drop with his entire family, who he has planned this with, and sticks her family for the bill of the wedding, never signed the marriage certificate, and away he went.
Nice.
And I ask you, savage or classless? Because for me, this is not even a debate.
I mean, can it go both ways?
Absolutely.
Can't both be, as Forrest Gump once said, can't both be happening at the same time?
No doubt.
Okay.
Because for me, that is a level of savage that I cannot wrap my head around. And was it maybe over the top? Maybe, in the words of the great Carl Childers, you're not done that.
Why did he do this again?
Because she had cheated on him with the best man.
And how is that over the top?
That's what I wanted you to say.
Okay.
That's really what I wanted you to say, because all I could think of was, let's go.
Absolutely.
Let's go. This guy just savage. Macho Man Randy Savage. Wow. Richard Petty, all wrapped into one.
You let me find out something like that on what's supposed to be the happiest day of our lives. You have wronged me in a way you thought you were getting away with something. I find out that day, it's going to be a bad day for you. It's going to be a very bad day.
Oh, he had found out. No.
You
missed part of this. He found out many weeks ahead of time.
And that's fine. I don't care when he learned.
And he still proceeded with
Of course he did. Because what is the one thing that I can do to just hammer home the message?
Kiss Country's Eddie Fox has picked up a nickname that I had when I was a younger man, because I'm the pettiest person on the planet. So he oft calls me Richard Petty, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna echo what Andres Pinckney said in our YouTube comments. I'd like to shake this feller's hand and buy him a beer, because that is a level of savage I don't know that we'll ever be topped on this here program. Just be good to people. Don't do. We say don't do crimes all the time. Don't do evil things. Don't cheat on your spouse, especially with a best friend. Now you've ruined a relationship and you've ruined a friendship, and you are just not a great person.
Thank you, because I thought for a second you were going to go that he did the evil thing.
No. What of my personality makes you think that's the tact I would have taken?
I don't know. I thought that was, like I said, I thought that was where you were going for a second. I was going,
No.
I fully disagree with you on that one. She started the fire. I am merely extinguishing it, or just throwing gasoline on it.
No doubt.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slow 240 westbound between Chuns Cove Road and Montford Avenue. 26 eastbound crawling between Long Shoals Road and Airport Road. 26 eastbound again crawling between the US 25 connector and Ozone Drive near the Gorge Zip Line. 26 westbound. Stop and go between Hendersonville Road and Long Shoals Road. In North Asheville and Axton, Merriman Avenue near Wembley Road in the Beaver Lake area. Near Avery Creek, Brevard Road north and southbound approaching Long Shoals Road is slow. Near Fletcher, Hendersonville Road northbound approaching Fanning Bridge Road is slow. Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road slow. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Verizon. Ready to take control of your phone plan? Well, then you better take that next turn to a Verizon store. Because my plan from Verizon is the kind of control we all deserve. Get exactly what you want. Only pay for what you need. Get my plan at your Verizon store today.
Maytag month has got it going on. It's all you want with the savings all month long.
Upgrade to the performance you need on all Maytag major appliances during May is Maytag month.
Maytag month is going on.
Great, it's yours. See you then.
Nathan's Tiki-themed bar is swimming in end-of-year party bookings.
Where can I find that many servers? They want headlamps? And I'm gonna need to find a band.
He needs caterers to navigate the rising tide.
No, Mario, not your cousin's cover band.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
iHeart gives you access to the hottest music, events, and deals. But on June 1st, we're giving you access like never before. It's iHeartRadio Access Day, our 24-hour way of saying thank you for listening. Go to iHeartRadioAccessDay.com today.
You could be joining Colin Cowherd in LA to experience a live broadcast of The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Head to iHeartRadioAccessDay.com to register to receive reminders for when experiences like this and more go live on June 1st.
Wow, Total Wine really does have everything. I found your favorite bourbon, an awesome vodka. Oh, and Ruthie.
Ruthie?
That's me. Always happy to help. Honey, Ruthie found that amazing Cabernet you loved.
Oh yeah, that Cabernet was really good.
And we have it for the lowest price in town.
We've got to get another bottle. So glad we found Ruthie.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly, be 21.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zack with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Did you know Ingalls only sells USDA Choice and Prime cuts of meat? Maybe it's time to reward yourself. Our butchers cut all our meat fresh in the store every day. Grass-fed, organic, you name it. Not only that, we'll even cut it to order just the way you like it. And we grind meat fresh in the store multiple times a day. It's all in the bag. That's the best meat in town for the best folks in town. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
The Sportsocracy.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
It is the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. Jeremy says fantasy football has ruined the NFL.
That's not exactly what I said. I feel like fantasy football has taken – I mean, that's one of the reasons the NFL is so popular.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's even debatable. As you have watched the NFL leave the NBA, Major League Baseball, everything else in the dust, one of the elements is because you can get together with your buddies, you have your fantasy team, and it gives you an extra insulated layer from being a Jets fan.
Mm-hmm.
Or now, in your case, a Bucks fan.
Yeah.
Post Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it's pushing what you actually see on the field away to fantasy points. Justin Fields. If I have one more person ask me, do I think you can get the Bears to the playoffs? I do. It has way less to do with him than it does with the schedule, with the division, and with the conference. Has more to do with the defense and things like that. But then you see he was the 6th highest scoring quarterback in fantasy football last year and go, well, he's obviously great. No, he's not. I'd say he's a special athlete. He's a very mediocre quarterback. Kirk Cousins. He's one of those in fantasy football I almost feel, and this is going to sound weird, it's almost propped him up because he's top 10 every single year. You know why? Because he plays every game. It's not like he's great. It's because he's a stat accumulator.
Yeah.
And so that sways people into what he actually is. He's a really high-end version of Jimmy Garoppolo. To me, he's a slightly less version of Derek Carr.
Which still makes him a top 10, top 12 quarterback in the league, statistically and fantasy-wise.
Yeah, but it doesn't, though. It puts him about 14, which is where we had him ranked in power rankings. He was the 8th highest scoring quarterback in fantasy football last year.
Ham sandwich.
Yeah, he's in that ham sandwich tier.
Right.
But one of the things that Austin Eckler, that's what got me thinking about this, he led the NFL in touchdowns and he's blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I understand he's great for your fantasy team. In terms of running backs in the NFL, where do you put him? This led to a just hellacious argument on social media.
I don't know.
I don't have him in the top 10. Straight up, I don't have him. I've got him behind Christian McCaffrey. I've got him behind Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Nick Chubb, Tony Pollard, Joe Mixon, Dalvin Cook, Bijan Robinson. He is my 10.
Okay.
And somebody will say, well, Tony Pollard, watch the film. Tony Pollard on a quarter of the touches is doing special things. Now, he may crash into the rocks when he's the one that's expected to carry the water. I don't know. In terms of what I see on film, he is a very high-level running back. And if you don't believe me, PFF has been saying this for 3 years. I've been the number one running back in the league for 2 out of the last 3 years or something insane like that. And I just feel like he gets swayed. And I'm not saying he's not a good player. He does a lot of things, which is really attractive for fantasy football. But then you see him get into the contract negotiation where he says, I'm worth $15 million, and the Chargers go, ha, ha, ha. No, you're not. Here's an extra mil, and we'll give you an extra $750,000 in things that you would almost have to be an Avenger to get to. Seen some reports on what the extra escalators are. One of them is he's got to have 2,000 all-purpose yards. Good luck with that.
Yeah, I don't feel like you're getting there.
And if he does, he earned it. And I think that's what the Chargers said. Is there you go. Yeah, you get to that, we're good.
Right.
But you
still,
get swayed.
but still, all in all, he's making $8 million max this year compared to the 15 that he thinks he's worth.
Alvin Kamara. I knew there was another one. I knew he was outside the top 10. And I watch this every year, and I can always tell when people that vest into arguments with me, I can always tell when they play a lot of fantasy football. I can also tell when they watch a lot of film or they watch a lot of games. And then there's that third that watches Red Zone for their fantasy team. So you're seeing just enough to have the argument on both sides. But it's almost infuriating for me, and I love fantasy football. We'll be starting stuff with fantasy football when we come back off our little mini holiday here. But it's not real life. I mean, I hate to say it as cut and dry as that. Just because this guy's a good fantasy football player doesn't mean he's a great NFL player.
True.
And you've got to be able to separate those two somewhere. And I'm hearing all this dumb talk about specific guys. And now it's almost like I want to have this different category of, he's a great fantasy player. Fine, as an NFL player. I'm gonna write a book about this one day. How fantasy football changed everything.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Coming up after the Sports Center update, it's the Daily Draft, and we're going NBA Jam style best duos in the league.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, this weekend, the rain takes over the forecast, unfortunately, right for the holiday. Looks like some heavy rain coming in for Saturday afternoon as a coastal low marches off the Atlantic into the Carolina forecast, and the northeast winds are going to be brisk here for Friday and into the weekend. We're in the mid-50s tonight, partly to mostly cloudy Friday, high 70, heavy rain Saturday, breezy northeast winds 57. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slow 240 westbound between Chuns Cove Road and Montford Avenue. 26 eastbound crawling between Long Shoals Road and Airport Road. 26 eastbound again crawling between the US 25 connector and Ozone Drive near the Gorge Zip Line. 26 westbound stop and go between Hendersonville Road and Long Shoals Road. In North Asheville and Axton, Merriman Avenue near Wembley Road in the Beaver Lake area. Near Avery Creek, Bavard Road north and southbound approaching Long Shoals Road is slow. Near Fletcher, Hendersonville Road northbound approaching Fanning Bridge Road is slow. Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road slow. I'm Lee Minfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Print and Marketing Services help small business print big. Now get $15 off signs, banners, and posters when you spend $75 or more. Offer ends July 1st. Visit staples.com/printbig for details. This is your sign to try Staples, where your prints are perfect, guaranteed.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown with Eric Spoelstra as their head coach. The Miami Heat have never lost two straight series-clinching games in the same year. Tonight, in Boston, they get their second chance to close out the Celtics. ESPN's Monica McNutt says Boston is the more talented team, not necessarily the better team.
What we've seen from Miami is a team that is certain in their identity in terms of basketball and their character, right? There is no way that a game is tight and Jimmy Butler doesn't have the basketball. Perhaps that is because of the roster in and of itself, but it's also because they know exactly who they are and who their guy is.
Monica McNutt on Get Up. Gabe Vincent out for the Heat tonight with a sprained left ankle. Game 5, Heat and Celtics. Our coverage starting at 8 Eastern here on ESPN Radio. Clemson forward P.J. Hall withdraws from the NBA draft. He'll be back with the Tigers in the fall. Raiders quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo had surgery on his left foot back in March after signing his free agent deal with the team. Garoppolo got hurt in Week 13 last year playing for the 49ers.
If you need to hire, then you need Indeed. Their powerful hiring platform helps you schedule and conduct video interviews all in one place. Finding your next great hire has never been more streamlined. Get hiring at Indeed.com/credit.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Green, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the sportsocracy. Presented by Ingalls Supermarkets.
This is the Sportsocracy, and we are live in the Ingalls studio on ESPN Asheville. 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400, and, of course, everywhere you go on the iHeart Radio app. See us live on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel, and that way you can join us in the chat. Daily draft time at the top of the third hour of the program, as always.
We were talking about video games yesterday. We've been teasing doing a best duos in the NBA draft for the last, 3 days?
Mm-hmm.
And so we said, you know what? We'll combine them. We'll go NBA Jam style. If you were playing the old school two-man NBA Jam, what order would you take these guys in?
Mm-hmm. So that's today's daily draft. We're going to let Jeremy have the number one pick in the draft because he did so well yesterday at a movie draft.
I represented myself well. I still lost, but thank you for recognizing my effort in something that I am not good at. Jeremy doesn't watch movies. Jeremy doesn't share food. Just do things I don't do.
Indeed.
So I have the number one pick, and I feel like it should come as no surprise to anyone that I am taking the dynamic duo from your soon-to-be NBA champion Denver Nuggets, Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray.
I believe that's the answer at this point. I mean, when I was making it, see, he threw the NBA Jam curveball at me after I had already been planning for this they were my number one regardless.
To me, they're the best duo in the NBA, period.
When fully healthy, as we see Jamal Murray coming into a form that we expected.
This is hard for people to wrap their brains around because they haven't seen it enough. Healthy Jamal Murray equals Devin Booker. They do the same thing, and one of them handles the ball, and the other one doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
So I could make an analytical argument that Jamal Murray is a better NBA player than Devin Booker.
Jamal really that much of a shooter?
Yes.
As Devin Booker.
Now, Booker's he's better in volume.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of hard to explain. The thing that the Nuggets do, and I think it was Colin Cowherd that I heard try to explain this. The Nuggets aren't volume. They shoot a very high percentage, but they don't really shoot a high enough volume to tell you if they're good shooters or not, because they do so much of their what they do offensively is off pick and roll.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, wide open threes are the best three-point shooting team in the league. Jamal Murray's a large portion of that. When you break down into the analytics of ability to initiate pick and rolls and just things they're harder to say quantify.
Mm-hmm.
Jamal Murray is an equivalent player to Devin Booker. Now, he's had the injuries, and that's the reason you view one way and you view the other the way that you viewed him up until now.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the only duo, and yes, I said what I said, that has two players that I think are both top 10 overall players in the NBA.
By the way, NBA Jam, best basketball video game ever made, not close.
Yeah, I can't agree. I can't disagree with that.
Look, I like it way better than 2K.
I like 2K a lot.
Yeah, but and I'm not saying the 2K's bad. 2K's a good game, but the NBA Jam was just to me it was so much more fun. And the last rendition of this, I think that we got, other than the special downloads that you can get, the last actual release of this game that we got was on the Xbox 360, I think, or per the PlayStation as well. It's been a while, and I feel like this is one that we need every year. We need an NBA Jam every year.
Do we, though?
I think we do.
See, to me, that's like an every.
It should be a franchise.
To me, that's an every 5 years you just update the rosters. I mean, it doesn't change much. I will tell you this. As we've discussed, Brian Haynes is living in half of my house.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to see football Farley come out, sit around and wait for him to say, after 14 domestic lights, we should play 2K.
It's not going to go his way.
It's made him really hate Yao Ming, and it's made him really hate Nikola Jokic.
Yao Ming?
Jeremy's real good with big players.
Ah.
So I don't shoot particularly well, but I will annihilate you down low. Every once in a while, he gets hot from three because he's one of those that he's never seen a three that he doesn't love.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes he gets hot. Golden State. Can't defend you there.
All right, so we're going to NBA Jam style. What NBA duo are you taking for today's daily draft? Number one pick by Jeremy Green, Nikola Jokic, and Jamal Murray.
There's a tandem here I'm really curious to see if you take in this turn.
Well, my number one pick is from the Boston Celtics. It's Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown.
At 2?
Yep.
Okay. All righty.
Why do you disagree?
I will tell you momentarily.
Okay.
Because that means you left one of mine sitting here.
For you, yeah, for you to have. To me, they're the second best duo in the league, period, not talking about video games. You put Jason Tatum in that. You just make Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, Jaylen Brown more athletic than Jason Tatum, and you put them in video game world, like crazy video game world.
Oh,
they shoot threes. They dunk like crazy. They can defend. They've got. To me, that's the second best team on the game.
The thing that bothers me about the two of them, you very rarely ever see them go off together. It's almost like one has to eat,
mm-hmm.
and then the other is just they're the definition of Robin and Batman.
Mm-hmm.
It's never Batman and Batman, and that's why I can't have them this high, because there's two other combos that are. And there's one of them that you're going to make fun of me when I say it because I have a feeling that's one I'm going to wind up with.
Okay. And my next one is Kevin Durant and Booker, Devin Booker.
Yeah, that's how I thought that was.
That's a crazy. I mean, again, Devin Booker's not going to be a 10 on the dunk scale, but
no,
Durant will be close. They may not have good defensive rankings, but I don't care because why does it matter to play defense in NBA Jam? This is all about the things you could do, and Devin Booker's going to hit him from three-quarter court.
I don't disagree. The most recent playoff series notwithstanding, the one I can't believe you didn't take is Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. Because I'm going to shoot you out of the gym.
Sure.
Just straight up. I will shoot you out of the gym.
Go. Yeah.
And the NBA Jam caveat was what pushed them up.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure I wouldn't have taken him here anyway. Klay Thompson's not as bad as what we saw in that last series.
Mm-hmm.
Fact or fiction?
Fact.
It just didn't fit. He didn't have anybody to guard. And that just the thing about the Warriors is I could almost say the same thing about them that I was saying about fantasy football in the last hour. Because I know you don't watch 48 minutes of the game. You're not seeing there's been a deficiency with this Warrior team forever. There's been a misnomer that Klay and Steph they're great all-around players. No, they're great shooters. Steph is a great player. Klay Thompson's one of the best spot shooters in the history of this league. Neither one of them's ever been a very good defender. But for this exercise, they certainly need to be selected. And then I don't want to do this, but I'm gonna. It's LeBron James and Anthony Davis. You have to. You have to. That's the only other combo here where I could really argue you've got two top 10 overall players in the NBA.
Okay, I can see
Booker
that.
and Durant, neither one can defend a desk chair.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't really get behind – I would have taken them, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But this is the only one that has that same thing I said about the Nuggets of this is two superstars.
Mm-hmm.
I know LeBron's not what he once was, and Anthony Davis is hurt all the time.
In video game world, that doesn't matter. Though.
Nope.
In NBA 2K,
just toggle that injuries off to off. I don't care.
I was going to say in NBA Jam, you didn't even have injuries.
No.
Injuries wasn't even a factor. Correct. Now, if this were 2K, you would have very high injury ratings on both of the players. Wait, is it the higher injury? This is what video games have always confused me because is it the higher number on your injury meter
means you're less likely to get hurt.
You're less likely to get injured, and if it's lower, that means you're more likely to get injured.
Yes.
All right, good.
Higher number is always better.
Right. So, if this were 2K, they would both have very high numbers in the injury likelihood rating.
West Virginia Willie said he can't imagine me and Brian living in the same house and still registering in his head. Well, you got to understand, my house is split into two sides, so we virtually never see each other except for the stray night, which I believe will be tonight, where we're both home at nighttime, and, well, that's when the
beers will be consumed.
That's when the domestic lights come out of the
video games will be played.
Oh, yeah.
And cuss words will be lobbed about.
Oh, and Amy's sick, so, yeah. Yes.
Okay. All right. So you go Steph and Klay, LeBron and AD as your NBA Jam duos at your second and third picks. And I get why you did that. The next one for me seems obvious. I got to go Embiid and Harden because in video game style, James Harden is going to be just as good as Devin Booker. He's going to be able to hit it from anywhere. It's not like there are two separate players, right? Like Stephen Tao said in the comments on YouTube that for the Miami Heat, it would be Jimmy Butler and playoff Jimmy. Like you don't have, you don't have James Harden and then crappy playoff James Harden. You just have one James Harden, and you're going to get the best version of that.
Hey, but see, now I feel like you get so much of the crappier version that the high end has been pulled down. James Harden. All right, fill in the blank here. James Harden is a top blank player in the NBA.
I feel like you got to go top 20.
It's not the number I would have said.
What would you say?
40.
Really?
Yeah. You can.
Okay.
It gets thick in a hurry.
I've never done a ranking of players in the NBA, or don't.
There are a slew of players.
Memory.
And I'll just give you an example because this is a guy I'm not taking. Probably Kyrie Irving. All right, it's where you put him. Yeah, he's a head case, but he's still really talented when he's on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of those. And then Harden's just got times where, ugh. I mean, he's the jewel of this free agency class, but Austin Reeves is the 2. So, maybe put that compartmentalized where it belongs.
Real life basketball, any combination, including Kyrie Irving, is not going to be in my top 10.
Tao, our Philadelphia 76ers fan, said he's definitely in the top 100. Yep, I would agree.
Definitely in the top 100.
Andrew Ayers said 25.
Yeah.
And you could convince me of 25. It's just so inconsistent.
I just feel like it's going to get thin in a hurry.
It doesn't get as thin as quick as you think.
All right. Maybe that should be a Power Ranking Tuesday at some point. Anyway, we'll stock that one away for later on.
For a rainy day.
Indeed. All right, so I'm taking Embiid and Harden as my third choice for NBA Jam duos.
I'm either going to get real happy or real sad.
I'm going Giannis.
Thank you.
And it's Giannis and Middleton.
Over Drew?
Yes. Chris Middleton, just correct me if I'm wrong here. Again, you're the X's and O's guy, but I believe Chris Middleton is the better player over Drew Holiday.
I do not.
He may not be.
I don't actually think it's all that close.
Really?
No.
Offensively?
Super inconsistent. Had 1.5 really high-end years that I think kind of people are stuck on good, Chris, and they don't see that, man, there's been a lot of mediocre.
Yeah, but there's been a lot of injury, too. And that's a problem in real life basketball. But if we're talking video game style, that doesn't matter here. To me, Chris Middleton he would have the higher rankings. Like, remember I think of the last version of the Xbox game, of the NBA Jam game, you could choose who off the roster you wanted.
Yes.
And I think some of the old ones had that as well. Like, you obviously, if you played as the Charlotte Hornets, which I did way more, I think in the later versions, you could go Johnson. LJ and Larry, but you could also choose Muggsy, or you could choose Kendall Gill, or you could choose anybody off the roster you wanted to.
I was a Larry Johnson, Kendall Gill kind of guy.
Yeah.
And that was evil.
Yeah.
So I had Larry Johnson that would dunk face. And then, you want to double that? Kendall Gill's out there at the 3-point line.
Yeah. Absolutely. Nothing wrong with that. But I feel like, Drew would be the second choice. Your stock photo for the Milwaukee Bucks.
So you think Chris Middleton's a better NBA player than Drew Holiday?
I do. I don't think he's a better all-around player because Drew's obviously the defensive player, the better defensive player between the two. But I think Chris is the better offensive player, and it's just because of the injuries that we think that he's not better than Drew.
Yeah, but that's part of who you are.
Oh, I get it. I completely get it.
Chris Middleton's a rhythm shooter that never gets into a rhythm for a long period of time.
To me, outside of the video game discussion, the dynamic duo here is Giannis and Drew. But I think Chris would be the better video game player if I'm making sense at all.
100%.
So I would take, how about this? Can I go Giannis and teammate? Because the greatness,
roster player,
the greatness that would be Giannis in the NBA Jam video game. I mean, the dude will dunk from the inbound on the other side of the court.
That's true.
And then I don't care who you put with him. Hell, you could put Pat Connaughton with him, and I'll be
Pat Connaughton. There's a name I didn't think was getting mentioned on the show today. All right, I got 2 picks, and you made it real easy because I've got 2 combos left. The first one is Kawhi Leonard and Paul George.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but they never play. I don't care. We're in video game world here.
Yep.
We're on the high side. That's the reason we did this, because how good's you're good. And I like how you said that earlier. In video game world, all you get's good.
Yes.
There is no bad, so
yes.
I don't care about the rest of this. And I'm kind of shocked that I got them here. Yes, they never play together. I get it. I wouldn't want to deal with either one of them because I think they're both head cases, but we're talking about video games here. And I don't want to do this. I've been looking at it's Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic.
Okay.
I don't have to deal with the head case that is Kyrie Irving in a video game.
I get it. Based on what they could be, pure talent together on the court in a video game, I completely get it.
And that's really what this is whose high side is the best. We made it video games to compartmentalize it.
Yes.
Probably should have explained that from the beginning. That's on me.
Right. But
I'm tired.
And we all get the connotation to real life here. But again, if it's real life, I'm not taking any duo. It could be LeBron James and Kyrie Irving, and I don't think I'm putting that in my top 10. I know I'd have to with LeBron on it, but it would take a very special person.
No doubt.
And I don't know that I'm there with Luka.
Oh, I'm there with Luka.
I really don't know that I am.
Really?
Really.
Luka Doncic is a top what player in the NBA? Second time I'm going to ask you this.
Oh, God, it's dead. 5.
There you go. Okay, I thought you were about to say something crazy there.
I'm not saying Luka's a bad player. I'm saying that's how much I hate Kyrie Irving.
Oh, no,
and how much he is going to destroy anything that he touches. He is the Thanos of the NBA. Snap of the fingers or a burning of the sage, and he is going to tear your franchise to the ground, no matter how good this team is.
How much money does he get? Curiosity.
Kyrie Irving? Way more than he's worth.
No doubt. Does he get a max deal, yes or no?
Yes.
I'm going to say no.
I feel like somebody will give it to him.
I don't.
Because the NBA doesn't seem to learn their lessons. Maybe they have this time.
I don't think he would take it from any of the teams that could give it to him.
That's also a possible scenario. All right, my final pick for best duos in the NBA. This might be off the beaten path for you, and you may call me an idiot. But
I doubt it.
I believe this duo would be fun in a video game. You're not going to get I don't know that you would get the upside of having, big guys like Jokic and Giannis and Embiid on your team. But Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, that could be fun to play with.
It could be.
Almost as much as Steph and Clay.
They were in my others receiving votes. I think this really shows how differently you and I played this game.
Mm-hmm.
I would shoot the eyeballs out in an NBA jam.
Yep.
And now I do it in 2K. From time to time. Depends on who I'm playing. Or just dunked on you with Larry Johnson.
Right.
Man, that game was awesome.
So what did we miss? Were there other duos on your list that we did not take in this little exercise?
Bam and Jimmy Butler.
I thought about it, but I just don't know what.
Bam just offers so little offensively.
Exactly.
I mean, for me, he's the guy at the rim. Like, hey, I'm going to stand here. And every once in a while, you're going to see that flying out because Bam, 3 into the.
I mean, he's going to have a 10 block rating. He's going to have a 10 dunk rating. We all know that. What does it give you other than that? He'll be bricking them from the free throw line.
Oh, no doubt, because he can't shoot to save his life.
Right. His 3-point score will be or it could be a -6.
Andreas Pinckney and somebody else said this in the YouTube chat at some point. Zion and Brandon Ingram. For this argument,
video games,
they would be a whole mess of fun. Because you got 2 guys that can dunk.
Actual
large.
NBA basketball, they're not in my top 20.
Yeah,
that might be going a little too far.
I was about to say. You get very Detroit Piston-y. Which, by the way, I can confirm. They threw a bag at Monty Williams, and he went, no, trying to get him to be their next head coach.
Yeah.
They looked at that roster and went, man, that's real Marvin Bagley-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And James Weissman-y.
Yeah, not a chance. In my original thoughts, I will say this. In my original thoughts about doing just best Batman-Robin duos in the NBA, Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo was my 3.
That wouldn't be the high for me. Butler's another one of those consistency. If he was playoff Jimmy all the time, he's a top 5 player in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is, he's not.
Problem is, I don't need you to be. I don't need you to be all the time. Get me to the playoffs.
So you're saying
you can get me to the Eastern Conference Finals.
You would have put Jimmy ahead of all of. You had him ahead at 3.
I had him at 5. Okay, so it was 5.
Okay.
Excuse me.
That's getting closer. That still seems high to me. That means you had him either ahead of LeBron and Anthony Davis, which is That's insane to me.
I did.
I can get a lot of the others. Okay. It's not as untoward as I thought.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slow 240 eastbound between exit 3 and exit 4A. Future 26 eastbound slow between Riverside Drive and 240 due to an accident. The shoulder blocked. 26 eastbound stop and go between Bavard Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 26 westbound slowing between Fanning Bridge Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 westbound near George's Branch Road is slow. In North Asheville, Merriman Avenue near Wembley Road near Beaver Lake. An accident causing heavy delays. Sweeten Creek Road, north and southbound, approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road, north and southbound in Fletcher near Fanning Bridge Road is slow. Near Avery Creek, Bavard Road, north and southbound, approaching Long Shoals Road, slow. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Raid Light Trap.
The new Raid Essentials Light Trap uses light to attract, then trap flying insects like fruit flies and mosquitoes, turning your home into restricted airspace. For insecticide-free protection that's people and pet-friendly, get new Raid Essentials Light Trap.
The places you drive past have a story to tell, and the Audio app brings those stories to life. Audio automatically plays narrated tales about the natural wonders, local legends, and fascinating histories right outside your car window. Featuring over 10,000 unique stories from coast to coast, many narrated by some of your favorite voices, including Kevin Costner, John Lithgow, and more. Make your next drive an adventure. Audio, the perfect companion for your next road trip. Learn more at autio.com.
It's not too late for a deep spring cleaning on your home. Give my friends at Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning a call. Right now, mention ESPN Asheville and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet cleaning for only $129. Book online at ZeroResAsheville.com.
Our communities are filled with wonderful people who make living here great. At Home Trust Bank, we're proud of that. And that's why we focus on helping homeowners prepare for what's next. Our local mortgage bankers have the experience you need and exceptional personal service you'll appreciate. Home Trust Bank is ready to help make a house your home. When it's time to buy, visit your local Home Trust branch or go to htb.com/mortgage.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at RogueCombatClub.com.
It's time to discover the convenience and time savings of contact-free pickup with Ingles Curbside. Just visit shop.ingles-markets.com or download the app. And your Ingles personal shopper gets to work with specialized training on how to select the freshest items for a pre-scheduled pickup. They'll even text you with updates. You pull up to a designated space and your personal shopper delivers your items right to your vehicle. Fresh, fast, and affordable. It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Spring in the South means the return of Atlanta Braves baseball.
There's a liner out towards center field. It will lay down. Here comes Ronald. Braves win it.
The 2023 Braves load up for another huge season.
The Braves play here on ESPN Asheville.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. It is that time of the day. It's the most important message you're going to hear.
Don't do crimes.
That's right.
My story comes from the lovely state of Illinois. We don't get a lot of, oddly enough, a place with a lot of crimes, don't get a lot of funny crime stories. This one's pretty funny. It's about Timothy J. Baggett. Lives in Carbondale, Illinois, and he had a very basic problem that many of us have had in the past. He was trying to catch a flight, but he didn't have a ride. So you would think that he could, there's a slew of ways to solve this problem. He could phone a friend and say, hey, could you take me to the airport and drop me off? He could call a rideshare company, have Uber come get you. He decided to do none of those things. He stole a backhoe. and drove it 10 miles to the airport.
That's a long
I
way.
am dumbfounded that he made it that far. He stole it off a construction site, and he was in Nevada trying to fly back to Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
So he drives it to the airport, parks it in a spot in the airport parking lot, and then just walks to the door like he's done nothing untoward.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot of police that have been alerted to this. They arrest him before he actually gets into the airport for charges related to possession of an additional stolen vehicle. So at some point, not only did he steal a backhoe, he stole another car while he was on this trip to Nevada. He's currently being held in the Elko County Jail on $40,000 bond.
Yeah, that's not a way to not draw attention to yourself. You can't show up to an airport in a giant piece of heavy machinery and not expect people to go, ooh. But for why did you bring that?
I saw the video of how he parked it. I will give him that he had that liberal arts confidence of I am here. This is where I'm supposed to be. I have done nothing untoward, and I'm just going to the airport. Okay, I parked. That's what you told me to do. It's overnight parking. I'm parking it overnight. The owner of the
did he try to fit it inside some spaces?
He
or did
fit
he park
inside,
it long ways?
He fit it inside some spaces.
Really?
Yep. And then just that's where it goes. The owner of the construction company that was doing the construction work that had a backhoe there showed up at the airport to identify the stolen device, and Mr. Baggett was promptly booked and arrested.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain crimes that I'm like, okay, let's talk about your thought process here. How did we get there? All right, if you're going to steal a car, would you not think steal a car that maybe is not super identifiable?
Yeah.
Probably not a lot of backhoes going, 10 miles.
Right. I mean,
Can you imagine being stuck behind that thing?
No.
Oh. Like, I gotta go.
That's definitely one of those that gets you that's going to get you a couple of middle fingers on the way by.
And Patrick Holt gave me he reminded me the luggage that he had with him was one duffel bag and a guitar because he was trying to make a flight to get to a gig.
To a gig. So he's a musician.
Yes.
And people pay him to travel?
Okay.
That's interesting.
Does that surprise you in any way?
I mean, no, not really. Not when Taylor Swift is making more money than God.
Well, there's that. I don't think Mr. Baggett is getting paydays like old Tay-Tay, or he would have, or I think he'd have called an Uber.
No.
As opposed to grand theft.
Now I need to know. Now I need to know what this guy's music sounds like.
100%. But and this is the catch-22 of telling stories like this. I don't want to validate that he did crimes because the message of the segment is don't do crimes, and he didn't adhere to that.
Mm-hmm.
But I am really curious if he is in a band with that gent that tried to sell you a rock. Because those, for whatever reason, those two feel like they would be friends.
I need to know what kind of band he's in.
Oh, it's a jam band. I don't
think
have
so?
to look. What do you think he's playing? You think he's doing Metallica covers?
Maybe.
No, this is a dude that's covering Fish songs. There's no doubt about that.
Really? That guy knows how to drive a backhoe?
Oh, that's probably the most shocking part of the story, honestly.
See, I'm thinking more along the lines of country singer or...
No, that guy steals
really?
That guy steals a pickup truck.
Are you sure that this is not really that Jelly Roll guy?
No. Trust me, Jelly Roll makes plenty enough to call an Uber. Patrick Holt said
so
probably
do NBA players, but they still get caught with DUIs.
That's
so
true. Patrick Holt said probably a Creed cover band. It's as good an answer as I think any of us are.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. And don't do crimes.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, this weekend, the rain takes over the forecast, unfortunately, right for the holiday. Looks like some heavy rain coming in for Saturday afternoon as a coastal low marches off the Atlantic into the Carolina forecast. And the northeast winds are going to be brisk here for Friday and into the weekend. We're in the mid-50s tonight, partly to mostly cloudy Friday, high 70. Heavy rain Saturday, breezy northeast winds 57. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Light delays 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 240 west and eastbound slow on the Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge. Future 26 westbound slowing near Broadway Street. Future 26 eastbound slow between Riverside Drive and 240. 26 eastbound slow between I-40 and Bavard Road. 26 westbound stop and go between Fanning Bridge Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 westbound slow between the Smoky Park Highway and George's Branch Road. Near Avery Creek, Bavard Road north and southbound. Near Long Shoals Road is slow. Near Bent Creek, Bavard Road southbound approaching the Blue Ridge Parkway slow. Near Fletcher, Hendersonville Road north and southbound approaching Fanning Bridge Road slow. Hendersonville Road northbound approaching Long Shoals Road slow. Hendersonville Road southbound between Biltmore Forest and the Blue Ridge Parkway slow. And Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road slow. I'm Lee Minfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. You do anything to keep your vehicle happy. Let's make sure it stays running smoothly. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, the right parts are just a click away. When you see the green check, you know that part will fit. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Calling all true crime podcast fans. Tune into Freeway Phantom and join a new investigation into the 50-year-old unsolved murders of 6 young black girls in Washington, D.C. Explore startling new evidence that could crack these cold cases wide open and bring as many questions as they do answers.
We still care, and it still hurts. We just want to know what happened.
Listen to Freeway Phantom on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Summer's heating things up, outside and on the grill. Whether you're smoking a brisket or grilling up veggies, Kingsford Original Charcoal delivers the consistent performance and smoky wood-fired flavor barbecuers crave. Kingsford Original lights faster and has a long burn time, giving you the ultimate grilling experience. So grab a bag of Kingsford Original Charcoal. Kingsford.com. Kingsford Original Charcoal lights faster and delivers consistent performance compared to nationally available charcoal in the USA.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zack with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
These guys are a f***ing disgrace.
It is ESPN Asheville, and we were talking. I remember yesterday we mentioned that the Denver Broncos had cut Brandon McManus, the last member of the Super Bowl winning team from 2015.
He didn't stay retired for long, or he didn't stay unemployed for long.
No, and you knew he wasn't going to.
No, and the thing that irritates me is that the team that signed him was one of the ones that I almost mentioned yesterday, and I skipped over it and went, you know.
And see,
Riley
when I
Patterson's
saw
fine.
See, when I saw this story, I went, why would you do that? Why would you bring in Brandon McManus when you had Riley Patterson on your team, who was a fine kicker? I mean, I just don't see the difference there.
Really?
I really don't.
I don't. In what way?
Well, I mean, statistically speaking, he's a better kicker, or more accurate kicker than he is right now.
Yeah, in a much smaller sample size. And McManus just had a really bad year.
He did.
But I don't think that's indicative of who he is. He's been a good kicker in the league for a long time.
He has been.
And they got a draft pick out of Riley Patterson because they traded him to the Detroit Lions.
And good for them for being able to do that. But I don't get it. Why would you give up on Riley Patterson? 23 years old and he's already a good field goal kicker. He's already 87% or something. And now you're giving up on him for a guy who made 76% of his kicks last year?
Well, you also have to dig a little bit deeper into that. Because Riley Patterson, you want to take a stab out of 49 kicks, how many in Riley Patterson's career were over 49 yards?
2.
It was 4.
Okay.
And he only made 2 of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I get it. I fully get it.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
you have some fixation with all things Memphis. Any player that went to Memphis is automatically on Tank's love list.
Wait, Riley Patterson went to Memphis?
You already knew that. You already knew
I
that.
Didn't know. I did not know that he came from the school that produced the greatest kicker in NFL history, Stephen Gostkowski. Yeah.
Don't try to kiss up to Patriots fans now. You've already they're already angry at you.
Love Stephen. Covered him when he was in college. Him and D'Angelo Williams. Those were the two guys.
That's why you're
team.
so obsessed with Memphis, because you worked there.
Yeah.
I've always wondered your strange fixation with every player that played at Memphis.
Just the good ones. Correct me if I'm
Antonio
wrong.
Gibson in the message. Repeat the line.
Stop that.
He's
only because Ron Rivera's an idiot.
And Stephen Howe and Stephen Town and Patrick Holt have a great point. That's a weird way to say Justin Tucker. Greatest kicker of all time. You said Justin Tucker in a weird way.
Justin Tucker, Adam Vinatieri, Stephen Gostkowski. Okay, so he's top 3. Give me a break. Anyway, Brandon McManus.
I feel like that description right there was like Thor, Batman, Aquaman.
Still a part of the group, isn't he?
Yeah.
Just because he's a distant 3 doesn't mean he ain't part of the top 3.
What is it that you do? I talk to fish.
I can also control the tides, which will come in handy.
How do you beat Aquaman? Stand on land. Hey, what are you gonna do now?
I don't know. I went through this with Tampa Bay fans. Like Tampa Bay fans who were saying, "Oh, thank God we got rid of Ryan Suckup because he can't kick one longer than 47 yards." And I went, I get that that's a skill that you would like for your kicker to have, but I don't feel like it's a necessity.
Yeah, it's a necessity.
I don't feel like it is.
Well, I shouldn't.
If my offense can't get me closer than that, then that's an offensive problem.
Yeah, I want somebody that can.
Sure.
I look at kickers much like I look at wing players in the NBA. I want you to be able to hit one from way downtown.
Right. What I like
because frankly, if I'm at the 30-yard line, there's a great chance I'm going for this anyway.
Sure. Would I like to have a kicker like Justin Tucker who can hit it from 68? Yes.
Well, there's one of those in NFL history.
Exactly.
See, and maybe I'm biased because my Jets have a history of being real bad in the kicking department.
Mm-hmm.
But I look at old Greg the Leg and just go, I think I'm fine. I think I'm all good. Because you know what? I haven't seen many kicks that I didn't think he could make. Does he make them all? No.
And maybe
but he can.
And maybe I'm making too much out of this. We always talk about how kickers aren't people.
Correct.
But this to me just wasn't a groundbreaking move.
Well, no, there's no such thing as a groundbreaking move with kickers.
This wasn't a move that maybe look at the Jacksonville Jaguars and go, "Oh, well, you're definitely better now."
Well,
you're pretty much the same.
Oh, this is one of those spots that I always want to have the vet. I either want to have the vet or I want to have the real hot shot. Like we were talking yesterday with punt god Matt Ariza.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jets have Thomas Morstead, so I mean, I'm fine with that. But then I watch highlights of Matt Rice, and I go, or we could have that.
Right.
He's kicked one punt in his life, and it went 79 yards.
But it makes all the sense in the world to me if there had, obviously there were some discussions had by the Jacksonville Jaguars. They got a draft pick out of Riley Patterson, sending him to Detroit. So clearly you made out well in this deal. I'm not saying you didn't. I just felt like it was a little bit of a head scratcher to me.
Oh, there was something in the NFL that was a head scratcher to me.
What's that?
Did you happen to hear Darren Waller's introductory press conference at OTAs with the Giants?
No. How did that go?
Talking about they value our opinions here in New York.
Okay.
And he followed that up with, as a player, I feel like a lot of places I've gone, you're told to do things a certain way, and you do those things. But here it's like they ask a lot of questions. They want to know what you're thinking and what you want to do more of. Well, but see, here's the thing. He said places. He's only been 2 places. It's Baltimore and the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, that's a very poorly veiled shot at the 2 of them.
I mean, it's very similar stories. I mean, I feel
in what
like,
regard?
Well, seeing as
comparing
how, especially
the Ravens
this past year. I mean, I don't know.
Well, he hadn't been in Baltimore in years, so you're
yeah, but that's also an organization that's not going to put up with crap. They don't care what you think. You're going to play your spot, and you're going to get out there and you're going to do your job, or you're going to shut your mouth and sit on the bench.
well, and
right?
and okay,
That's how Bill Belichick runs his teams, right?
And okay,
that's how Josh McDaniels is going to run his team, right?
But I feel like you're forgetting that there were some issues with Darren Waller that these 2 franchises, may have put up with and maybe assisted you with, and maybe taking the veiled shot at them the first opportunity you get is maybe people like me are going to look at that and go, man, that feels really inappreciative for a guy that could very easily have taken very different roads in his life, if not guided by the money and the effort and the time that those 2 organizations put into you.
But I don't bring that up. I don't really talk about that, do I, in press conferences? Just a random question about what's different between this place and that one. Am I gonna get into that discussion? No, I'm strictly talking about the coaching staffs and how they run their room.
No, and I guess my thing is I would be, a little respect to 2 organizations that did a lot for you, that these are your words, not mine. I'm taking what you said and just using your words against you. And now you leave Vegas by the trade with the Giants, and now you take an opportunity to take a crack at them the first shot you get. Absolutely. This is the first time he spoke with the media in New York. It was the first question he was asked. Could you have not – I mean, maybe my expectation's too high here, but could you not have just shown a little appreciation for those 2? And I'm very happy to be here because they put a lot of stock into what I say, saying nothing about the other 2. Just happy to be here. Excited to be with Danny Dimes. And
I mean, he could have. It's not like he chose violence and just came out and said, oh, they're dumpster organizations, and I'm so glad to be in New York. Like, he did. He was answering a question honestly. If there was a little bit of shade in there, I mean, I hate it for you, but facts don't care about your feelings, I guess.
I suppose.
I mean, have you never had that? Have you never worked at a place where, you work for them, they take care of you, they give you all the greatest benefits and all the vacation, and you make a good salary and all of that, but the structure at the top of that organization is just a complete and utter dumpster fire. And you go to your next job, and they ask you, hey, what's the difference between this job and that job? I mean, are you going to sit there and go, oh, I love those guys. I mean, they gave me all the benefit. The health insurance was awesome. And no, you're gonna tell them what was bad about that job.
I spent my whole adult life in sales.
Indeed.
There's really no. I mean, first of all, I'm not doing any press conferences anytime soon. But yeah, how much do you pay? Is it more than this many monies? Because if it's more than this many monies, my loyalty is to me and my bank account. End of message, repeat the line. Just I found it to be a little odd. and a couple of my contacts in New York were a little awestruck by the response of, man, that felt like you took the first shot you got to throw some shade back that way.
And maybe he did. Maybe he hated the way things ended with Las Vegas. It's a little different culture than Baltimore. I mean, I don't know. I don't remember I don't remember the early stages of that story, but
he got suspended for a year.
Right, but was it he had all the trouble in the Boston? Where did that come from? The Baltimore Ravens just cut him and let him go.
He was a free agent. So he was in the Baltimore organization. His contract expired.
Mm-hmm.
Then he was a free agent. John Gruden brought him in with Oakland after he missed that suspended year in 17. And that's when things went, well, they escalated quickly.
Right.
Because he played in that last game of the season in 18, and then he came in 19 and just went bananas.
Right.
Had, 2,400 yards in 2 years?
Mm-hmm. I want to say you should be. You were saying he should be grateful to the Baltimore Ravens for what? I mean, were they the ones that put him through rehab and all of that? If so, then I agree with you. I just don't know.
I want to say they did.
Maybe they did.
I want to say they did,
and it wouldn't shock me if they did. I'm just saying maybe he does owe a lot to both franchises, and I'm sure that he does. I mean, these are
he was a pariah to a lot of teams around the league.
Absolutely.
It was not untoward that he was going to have a role in this league. I mean, he's a gigantic guy. He was really quick. He played wide receiver at Georgia Tech. You had to convert him. So Baltimore put the time in. Then he got suspended. I'm 99% sure they did.
Okay.
Tao said they did.
Okay.
And I thought they did. I just wanted to confirm that before I.
And I'm sure if that question came up, he would be more than willing to say they supported me at a time in my life where nobody else would.
Well, I mean, and I'm sure there's a lot of you that think I'm making a mountain out of a molehill here. It's my experience with New York media.
I get it.
You have started poorly with, Vegas is not like New York. You say something like this, and it ends up on the back page of the Times. And then you're going to be asked about this 10 times between now and the end of OTAs. And I would wager Brian Daboll went to him and went, hey, from now on, when we get asked those questions, maybe just shut up. Maybe just happy to be here. Next question.
Don't talk ill of the other teams.
Don't make a story. And I guess that's where I was really trying to get with this is the way that Brian Daboll has really, I feel like, progressed that franchise. Giving the sharks in the New York media an opportunity to make the same mountain out of the same molehill that I am. And I know how weird it sounds here. I'm really more talking about what you're getting in your home market.
Mm-hmm.
This will be a talking point. Like Mike Francesa and Mad Dog and all those guys. This is going to be talked about for 2 segments tomorrow. And you got to be a little smarter than that in that market. That's all I'm trying to say.
But wouldn't the coverage of this be more, hey, Darren likes it here better than anywhere he's been, and so this is going to be a good thing?
Well, you would think
I'm
that.
just asking.
Oh, I thought that was actually your opinion.
No,
I was going to say,
I'm asking the question.
We're new to New York media, aren't we? Nobody in that area of the world takes the optimistic side. Have you ever seen that? There's a meme on social media of 3 cups, and they each have fluid in them.
I have seen this video on Against My Will, and I don't want to talk about it.
No. It's not a video. It's a meme.
Oh, okay.
One of them said
you said cups, and
it says pessimist, optimist, and realist on the top. First one says I'm half full. The second one says I'm half empty, and the third one says I think this is pee.
Yeah,
I think this is pee. That is the New York media.
New York media. It is the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow. Future 26 westbound between 240 and Elk Mountain Road. 26 eastbound slow in pockets between Brevard Road and Airport Road. 26 westbound slows approaching Fanning Bridge Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. Near the North Carolina Arboretum, Brevard Road southbound stop and go approaching the Blue Ridge Parkway to Clayton Road. Near Avery Creek, Bavard Road north and southbound, approaching Long Shoals Road is slow. Sweeten Creek Road southbound, stop and go between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Mules Gap Road. Hendersonville Road southbound, slowing between Biltmore Forest and Overlook Road. Hendersonville Road southbound, again slow between Old Airport Road and Fanning Bridge Road in Fletcher. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Make your summer getaway a new bed during Mattress Firm's Memorial Day sale. Save up to 60% with queens starting at just $169.99. Plus, save up to $500 on select Tempur-Pedic adjustable base mattress sets and get a $300 instant gift.
Introducing My Plan from Verizon. Control what goes into your plan and what stays out of it. All on Verizon's award-winning 5G network. With the new game-changing My Plan, you pick only the perks you want and save on every one, like Disney Bundle and Hotspot. So now you're getting exactly what you want in your phone plan and only paying for what you need. Take charge and get My Plan at your Verizon store today. It's your Verizon. $10 per month for each My Plan perk. Additional terms and conditions apply per perk.
iHeart gives you access to the hottest music, events, and deals. But on June 1st, we're giving you access like never before. It's iHeartRadio Access Day, our 24-hour way of saying thank you for listening. Go to iHeartRadioAccessDay.com today.
You could be spending Meet Friday with me, Dan Patrick, and the Danettes for a VIP experience in the Man Cave, all part of iHeartRadio Access Day.
Head to iHeartRadioAccessDay.com to register to receive reminders for when experiences like this and more go live on June 1st.
Tired of getting dinged by monthly fees on your checking account? You need Simple Checking from Home Trust Bank. With Simple Checking, you get all the essential checking services for free, including 100% online access and a free Visa debit card. It's everything you need from a checking account, but no hoops, no surprises, no monthly fees. Stop by today or call 800-627-1632. Simple Checking at Home Trust. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at RogueCombatClub.com.
It's time to discover the convenience and time savings of contact-free pickup with Ingles Curbside. Just visit shop.ingles-markets.com or download the app. And your Ingles personal shopper gets to work with specialized training on how to select the freshest items for a pre-scheduled pickup. They'll even text you with updates. You pull up to a designated space and your personal shopper delivers your items right to your vehicle. Fresh, fast, and affordable. It's all in the bag. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
All right, it is Thursday in the books. That means tomorrow is our last show before the double tickets for the Ultimate Fantasy Draft Weekend contest ends. So get in before next Wednesday, and you'll get double the tickets for the draft weekend, the full red carpet experience. We're doing it all out just for your fantasy football league this year.
You can actually say that the ESPN guys hosted your fantasy draft. And the mulleted one made fun of Billy because he took a kicker in the fourth round. And I'm gonna, just so we're clear, the first one of you that takes a kicker, I may bring an air horn with me. But we're putting a lot of things into this, and one of the reasons that we're being more coy about the details is because we want your input in it. We want you to tell us what it is you want, and we'll help facilitate that. I mean, within reason. I'm not going to, ride in on a tiger or anything like that. But
although that would be cool.
It would be 100% cool. I have been watching just a copious amount of Naked and Afraid. And, never would I ever do that. But there are a slew of animals that look like they would be fun to ride. And I will never know.
I have no idea what you're talking about, and so we're just going to move right past that because being naked with animals, that sounds like crimes, and don't do crimes.
A leopard. Ride a leopard
Find the links on the social medias in the description of the YouTube video right now. We've also got the QR codes that pop up on the screen. So if you're watching on your desktop computer, you can screenshot that with your phone. It'll take you to where you need to go to make the donation for Eblin Charities. We're getting in early on this so we can have 2 different payments to Eblin Charities this year, not just for the St. Nicholas Project at Christmas time, but we want to get it in for the Tools for Schools school supply drive at the beginning of the school year. So that comes in August, and then we will make another donation for those who get into the battle for the belt for the Christmas donation.
Correct.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. Back with you tomorrow at 3.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, this weekend, the rain takes over the forecast, unfortunately, right for the holiday. Looks like some heavy rain coming in for Saturday afternoon as a coastal low marches off the Atlantic into the Carolina forecast, and the northeast winds are going to be brisk here for Friday and into the weekend. We're in the mid-50s tonight, partly to mostly cloudy Friday, high 70, heavy rain Saturday, breezy northeast winds 57. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Light delays. Future 26 westbound between 240 and New Stock Road. 26 eastbound slows near Brevard Road. 26 eastbound then stop and go approaching Long Shoals Road to Airport Road. 26 westbound stop and go approaching Fanning Bridge Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. Near the North Carolina Arboretum, Brevard Road southbound stop and go between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Clayton Road. Near Avery Creek, Brevard Road north and southbound near Long Shoals Road is slow. Near Fletcher, Hendersonville Road north and southbound approaching Fanning Bridge Road is slow. Sweeten Creek Road southbound stop and go between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Mills Gap Road. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Verizon. Ready to take control of your phone plan? Well, then you better take that next turn to a Verizon store. Because my plan from Verizon is the kind of control we all deserve. Get exactly what you want. Only pay for what you